What's up, friends? Have you heard of parkour? Parkour is that art form where people jump from like building to building, doing backflips and spins. You would see so much of it in Hollywood movies, the stunts that they do, but this is actually a sport. I call it an art form, but it's a sport. And it's incredible to see what humans are capable of doing. They're just pushing the body past crazy barriers, right? And boundaries. Anyway, I have been blessed to have a young parkour athlete agree to come onto the show and explain his perspectives and his experience in the parkour world. Now, he's absolutely blowing up and a fascinating young man to chat to. He's only 17 years old, and I think he's going to be one of those, or the next Red Bull athlete. Anyway, if you're into parkour, you're going to absolutely love his perspectives and his experience and stories that he has to tell, and his connection with Dom Tomato as well. For those of you who are in parkour, you will know. And for those of you who don't know parkour, I'll tell you what, this is a great episode for you to be exposed to a sport or an art form that you have seen. You just can't unsee this art form. It's crazy, right? But he also has insights into how he deals with fear, because parkour athletes have this unbelievable ability to be fearless, because what they're doing is just so dangerous, but yet so beautiful. I can only get this information from an actual parkour athlete. Anyway, there is a surprise guest at the very end, so you got to watch all the way through. His name is Che Kirschner. Enjoy. Parkour, parkour! Okay. What'd you do last night?
What did I do? Jesus Christ. What was yesterday?
Do you game Thursday. Like late in?
Oh, I kind of enjoy it, but I don't do it a lot anymore. I used to play games all the fucking time.
Is that because it fucks with your sleep?
Not even. I think it's just that I'm out all the time. Like that was what I was doing, is I went over to Cromer, so just above Manly, there's a gymnastics center up that way that I usually go to. And yeah, it's twice a week. There's like an open session where everyone can go and train, and gymnastics, cheerleading, tricking, breakdancing, parkour, free running, all that.
That must be an awesome community that you guys are building there.
Yeah, the vibe is good. It's like everyone there is pretty chill, and anytime there's people off to the side, it's just like they're doing their own thing.
Yeah, man.
I think there's only been a couple times that people are coming in and I'm being like, what the who are they?
Do you get people kind of crossing over? Like the breakdancers check out what you're doing and they're like, ooh, that's cool.
We all kind of will see a big part of like the parkour, the how it's done and everything is that we can kind of see someone else working on something or a challenge or whatever it is, and we'll go, oh, that's cool, let's work on that. And that's often how the coolest shit is done, because you think you see other people's kind of style. You're always going to kind of do your style most of the time. But some of my best clips have been because I've been off doing something, not really knowing what I want to do. I'll look off to the side, I'll see someone doing something, I'll be like, oh, that looks fun.
That's it.
It's just because everyone has a different set of eyes when it comes to even just a space in a certain area. So even there was, when I went to Melbourne, there was a gap, and I noticed it, but I was kind of off to the side. I thought, oh, this area looks a bit nicer. I saw someone prepping the running jump. I went, oh, that's cool. And then I thought, hang on, it's pretty big, but I can side flip that. So I went and I looked at it and I prepped it out, and Dom was there, which was sick. And he was like, yeah, you can do that. And I think it's also like when you have someone else that you train with consistently who knows your skill level, isn't just like guessing, when they say, yeah, you got it, then you're confident. It's like another boost.
So what do you do when you don't have that person around?
Well, you're always able to get there. It just takes a bit longer.
Right. Do you parkour on your own a lot, or do you do it with a partner?
It's very social. It's probably the most social sport I've ever been around.
But I mean, like for you, when you're practicing, for example, or when you're just trying out new moves, would you do that with a partner, or would you do that on your own?
I will always prefer to be with someone.
Right.
But
is that a safety thing?
Partially. I think it's like, it's never the forefront, but it's always nice to have someone else around.
Sure, yeah.
But I've done training sessions alone before, and I have no issue with it. I just personally feel I get better stuff done when I'm with people.
And someone's got to film that TikTok, baby.
Yeah. No,
shit don't film itself.
But yeah, man, it's like I don't know. We always will see someone else doing something
Yeah.
and something we haven't thought of or we have thought of, but they're doing it in a different way.
Mm.
And then you'll get to try that and it's really fun.
See, that's such a like cool way to be inspired indirectly
Mm.
by other people doing different sports and that kind of like crossover.
Yeah.
It just that's what helps the evolution of sport, right?
Yeah.
When people see and try and share.
Mhm.
What like of all the sports that you could have done, because you're pretty I want to say very athletic
Mm.
kind of young man. And of all the sports that you could have done, why did you choose parkour?
Well, I don't know. I never really fit with like team kind of. I mean, I do believe, as weird as it sounds, parkour is a team sport, which I'll get into.
Well, it seems like that when everything that I watch, it seems like this.
100%.
a
It's
group of
all a
people
team
doing it.
effort, but
Yeah.
I'll kind of be more specific in a sec. It's that all ball sports I never really could do. I think I found later on in life when I was younger, I didn't really know, but I am pretty like capable of being able to, if I enjoy something enough, or even if I don't, I could put enough time into it and get pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of, I won't, because if I don't have that like passion for it, I just won't. That's why I was very stuck in games for a while, and that's all I did, and I was unhealthy, and I just sat around all weekend. No, it was a steaming hot weekend in my room with all the curtains shut. Like I was just a loser.
With empty cans of Red Bull everywhere.
So, yeah, but I think I went through a couple. I think when I was like very young, I did like the thought of dancing, but I could never pick it up. And also my mum was just completely incapable of getting me to do anything.
Right.
And then I always thought it was cool seeing people do flips. So that was always something I wanted to do, but especially over that kind of way. I mean, up north in Byron and everything, it felt very like everything was out of reach. Everyone there, if you had like a goal or a dream that you wanted to achieve, it's like, oh, that's, you can't get there. You can't do that.
You know what they call that? They call that struggle street mentality.
Yes.
And everyone who lives on struggle street never leaves.
Exactly.
And then if you do try to leave, you're considered a sellout.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
sad.
Yeah, I can talk about that as well, but that's pretty much happened to me, except I was able to get out, which thankfully, not without help, but yeah, it was, so I kind of gave up that thing of wanting to flip for a while. And then obviously I when I was very, very young, I was all into animals. So it wasn't really sport. It was just anything, nature, wildlife, be around that. And anytime I'd get to come to Sydney, Dad had my pet snakes here and it was awesome.
So parkour's so far removed from any of your initial desires to do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was like, but I was always moving. When I was young, before the games, before all like a lot of other stuff happened, it was very much so I was always climbing a tree. I was always doing that stuff, which I believe all kids should. And I'm very upset that like it's not very long ago when I was a young kid and now I don't see anyone doing it. Like you go to a park, you see kids climbing around a bit, but it was every street of every neighborhood of everything, there's people out.
Now it's a different climb. It's the social ladder climb.
Yeah.
Which
so,
is sad.
And now it's like they're all just on Roblox, on iPads and stuff. And I'm just like, dude.
So like when you're looking at a sport like parkour or free running, what do you call it?
I will default to parkour. But I believe my style of parkour is much more free running based.
Right. Okay. I want to get to the differences between that.
Yeah.
But when you're watching a sport, like for example, if you're watching basketball, you could be, somebody who just loves to watch the sport and loves to view it, but doesn't want to take part in it or isn't athletic enough to take part in it.
Yeah.
Like of all the sports, when you saw that, what was it about that where you thought, you know what, I can do that?
Right. I think because I always watched it. I always saw it on YouTube because I spent so much time on YouTube and I always thought I kind of could, but again, I felt very limited. So that's when I would have been 7, I first kind of started enjoying trampolining, which in a lot of ways is similar. For example, in the sense of mental battle. So I believe breaking a fear is a similar kind of thing, but obviously it's a trampoline. So people would automatically default, it's, lower risk of injury because it's not on concrete, which in a lot of ways is true. But
I've seen some pretty bad injuries on trampolines.
100%. There's even more. There's
Yeah,
there's a lot of times on trampolines just because you're building so much height and rotation in one point in space. and coming down. And if you come down not on your feet, back or stomach, then you're on your head.
Yeah.
And
or if you fall in the springs.
Oh, exactly. Like it's a whole different ball game. But I did trampolining. I think I first enjoyed it when I was about 7 years old at a friend's house. They had a trampoline, and I hocked my first backflip, and that was sick. And I was like, okay, this is it.
Then you're hooked.
100%. So by the time I was about 9, Mum finally got me a trampoline.
Okay.
So I was on that every single. If I wasn't at school, or even when it was pitch black, I was on the trampoline. Like that was the first time I was able to kind of not just sit on the Xbox.
Right. So the backflip, it's one of those things that I think everybody would love to be able to do.
100%.
I know I would have loved to be able to have done it, but I love my neck.
Yeah.
So is that kind of like the tipping point? Was that the tipping point where you went, oh my God, I could do that. It was easy to do. I enjoyed that. Let's push the body further.
I think like when I did it at that point, again, very young, I don't think I quite understood it enough to clock it at that level.
Right.
It was more just, oh, that was really fun. Let's try do more.
Right.
Because I could already front flip before that.
Okay.
I did the front flip, I did the back flip. And then 9, 10, I was on the trampoline just learning new tricks. And the goal was always do it outside on the ground, no trampoline. So it was always to take it away from the needed, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's like the needed equipment, whatever, right? I always thought just doing it with your body, that's it. You can do it wherever you want, whenever you want. That was the goal. So I worked towards backflip on ground for like literally a year and a bit before getting it, or it had always been a goal since years. And I did it like starting on the trampoline, then trampoline without any bouncing, so less height.
Yeah.
And I did it off of the trampoline onto the grass, or like mattresses and stuff. I'd do it onto mattresses, do it onto beanbags, any chance I got. And then got to the point I could backflip off of like a chest high rock onto sand.
Okay.
And then I just got that lower and lower and lower until I was down to about shin height rock onto the sand. And then I, every, 5-6 months I get to go to trampoline park, which is a padded environment. Right. So I was able to huck it a bit more confidently. But I always, as a young kid and even early into like parkour, I was very held back by my mental game. Right. I struggled to do something that scared me.
Yeah. I want to talk about that because that's such an important aspect of parkour in comparison to like gymnastics or any other sport like that where you are, that's, I guess it's one thing that drew me to parkour is that you're using the environment and you're manipulating the environment
100%.
Almost like the Matrix, right?
Yeah,
you're doing shit that people would never think is possible
100%.
And you're pushing the human body like to extreme limits, right? And I love that you're not restricted to a room or a gymnasium or, you know what I mean? Or to having a referee or it's almost limitless.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like it gets a lot of people because you see it. And so much of the time, not that I really have many friends anymore that don't do parkour because that's all I'm doing.
You're immersed.
Yeah. But even with dad or whatever, we'll walk past just like 2 walls and a rail. And I'll be like, oh, mate, this is sick.
The world is your oyster.
And dad will be like, what are you on? Like, it's just the amount of things that people just don't understand because it's like we see and interpret the world in so many different ways. Yeah. And now I've found like a couple different like dimensions I can see the world in. I can see it from a normal person's standpoint.
Yeah.
I got into FPV drone flying.
Right.
So freestyle FPV, which is crazy tricks and weaving between little gaps and everything. That's so I can see it of like, wow, this could be a cool shot.
Yeah.
And then I'm also just getting into videography. So I'm using cameras. Oh, this could be a cool shot. Use that in the foreground, background, whatever. Yeah, right. And then now parkour, it's like, okay, there's this rail. Is that rail actually sturdy? So you'll see a lot of parkour athletes running around shaking surfaces and whacking walls and stuff. Right. And it's like, that's just what we do now. Because if it's a solid surface, then we're like, oh, this is sick. This is awesome. We could do so much stuff here. Do
you have like a checklist of like okay, so I would liken what you just said to be very similar to a photographer who views the world in a totally different light to most people through a different lens. So literally, but how do you mitigate the level of danger when you're looking at a gap or rail or pole or something like that you want to jump from or off or to? What's your checklist?
Right. So the first and most obvious would be check the surface. Checking the surface is
Surface.
always something you have to do no matter where, even if it's a spot that you've been to before.
Right.
Because all around this Sydney and Melbourne, and I've been multiple places now, which I can talk about, is even if you've been there a lot of times, doesn't mean it's necessarily the same. So there's a lot of spots that we have named. We have so many names for so many different spots.
Right.
So we could go, oh, let's go Ruins, let's go Grey Walls, let's go whatever, let's go Goods Line. And essentially,
so everybody knows their parkour safe areas.
Yeah. So even at those spots with surfaces we've jumped on thousands of times, we do check because all it could be is a very small layer of ash or dust,
moss,
water, anything.
Fuck it up.
And you have to check it. And then also older walls, bricks and stuff can slide out of the way. Tiles can crack, all that stuff. Even when we're walking across rooftops, which we don't do very much in Australia because the Australian architecture is not very strong on the roofs.
Yeah, you need Brazil. You need the favelas. And
I need Brazil.
Mykonos.
I need Santorini. I need to go to the UK. So I'll talk about that in a second.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So when you talk about surface, are you talking about the surface that you're going to jump from and jump to?
Everything.
You want to,
and the possible bail situation. Right. So in the case that I don't jump far enough, there may be a wall below me or to the left or right of me that I can grab and catch.
Okay.
So I need to check anything that I may or may not touch.
So when you say bail, for people who don't know what you're referring to, you're talking like almost like a secondary position for you to fall to if...
So bail can be a couple different things. Mainly it's if something doesn't go the way that you want it to go, it's not exactly the way you planned it.
Right.
Coming out and still usually being safe. So a bail can be just you having a tumble, pretty much. Right. There is a lot of the time you'll see someone get injured. You say, oh, they had a bad bail doing a running jump or a flip pre or whatever it is. So bail is, it's when you mess up in some way, shape or form, or you don't fully commit. So you go to do your jump, you run with max power, you jump as high as you want, and then in the air before your feet meet the wall, you go, oh, I don't want to do it anymore, which is the most stupid and dangerous thing anyone can do. So when I'm coaching, because I coach parkour at the local gym, is I always say, you either got to say, I'm not ready for this, I don't want to do it, or I'm ready and I'm going to commit, because you can't commit half. There's no such thing as that. Otherwise, you're going to get injured. And to me, injury is more than... Now at this point in my life, injury is more than like, oh, it hurts. Yeah. It's that how long is that going to take me out of training? Because as much I have a very good life, I'm very happy, I'm very fortunate, but there's no better happiness than when I'm training. And when I'm not training, I'm not amazingly happy.
Well, see, it messes with the psyche, mental state 100%. Suffers.
Like that's what it's my thing. It's what I do. And when I'm doing that, that's like all my best memories have happened in the last 2 years. And that's all through parkour, pretty much. Obviously there's always going to be like childhood memories and stuff that I enjoyed, but all the like best times I've had so far have been pretty much doing that.
And so an injury would really impede the enjoyment of life.
Yeah, like I even like a week and a half ago, just under 2 weeks ago, so it's not Tuesday we just had the one before, I just didn't stride far enough into a box. I wasn't focused as I should have been.
Right.
It's just it wasn't like an actual challenge or a flip or anything. It was just on a game of tip around the parkour gym. Right. I just didn't stretch out my right leg far enough. I went shin first into a wooden edge, and so didn't like it wasn't comfortable. No, but I didn't really care that it like hurt, so to speak. It was more that then for this last week and a half, 2 weeks, I haven't really been able to train, or I could have, but it wouldn't have been a bad idea. It's a weird balance of I don't want to take myself out the sport for too long. Yeah. But also, if I come back prematurely because I go, oh, I'm not in pain, that means I can train. Yeah, no. Then that could have reopened.
Your body's still repairing.
Yeah, like I pretty much needed stitches, but I just was like.
So you cut it and fractured, or just?
No, well, I never got checked. But it was pretty bad, and I've luckily just been able to like rest and give it some air, and it's pretty much scabbed over. But it's quite a big gash. I'll show you in a bit, and it's like. If I came back too early, then any form of healing could have just been gone because it would just tear apart again. Right. And then it would take me out for even longer. So I need to find that perfect time to come back without then impeding any healing that's already happened. Okay. But so anyway, back to the checks. Surfaces, always check the surface. It's you have to 100%. Second thing is, how have you performed throughout the day already?
Right.
So that's both mentally and physically.
Okay.
Almost more mentally, because obviously unless you are in like actual pain or you just feel awful, like you feel flat, you don't have any explosive power, then your physical is always kind of all right in that sense.
Right.
It's always if you're ready, because I'd like to think myself, I'm pretty good at committing to things that are scary and not bailing halfway. But there's certain days that you just show up and you don't feel like you're the same there.
Yeah, because life, you know?
100%. So I think that's kind of more like that's another check where you have to make sure that you have been good already.
Right.
So I never go to a big challenge straight away. It's like a warm up. You always warm up, you always stretch, and then you warm up in the sense of challenge or difficulty.
Right.
So I'll always start off with easy challenges and all that stuff, which is why I'm so frustrated when people don't stretch and then they go straight into something difficult. I'm like, dude.
That's like any sport, right?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
if you don't warm the body up or stretch, you know, you're going to get injured.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing is you pretty much just need to make sure you're ready. And then the first reference point is why I said, how have you done throughout the day before doing a big challenge?
Right.
So like I did a roof gap recently, which is like a jump off the top of a fire escape of a car park. And then across a gap that's like 6 stories tall.
Wow.
So it's if you don't make it, you die. and you have to jump across this gap, which wasn't very far, thankfully.
Right.
To like I'll show you. It's like to the side of a building. It's like on the edge of an office building. They have like this weird kind of oval shaped like fake grass thing. Yeah. It's like a balcony that no one can access.
Have you got this footage up on your Instagram so people can?
It won't. So that's the thing. I'm describing it, but I'm filming a video project at the moment.
Oh, okay,
so
right, okay.
That will be released later this year.
Okay.
And it's going to be in a video project with me and my friends trying to essentially like show the highest level parkour I believe possible in Sydney of young athletes, so 18 and under.
Okay. Let's finish the checklist, but I want to talk to you about the level of parkour athlete here in Australia in comparison to the rest of the world. Yeah. So you've got surfaces. All right. We got
check yourself. You wreck yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Be ready, be warmed
100%.
up, be stretched. So that's two pretty
First
important.
Yeah. You always have to do that. And those are, if you get those covered, you'll usually be good.
Okay.
Then I do like to just do a couple other checks for myself. So I always wipe the bottom of my shoes. I always make sure that there's no layer of dust on them. I always have to wash my hands after, obviously, because it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But wipe the bottom of my shoes, make sure they're grippy, warm up the rubber on the bottom.
Are you wearing special shoes for that?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Can we see those shoes?
I can, actually.
Well, we also have Che's dad here as our assistant.
Thanks, Dad.
He's going to come on and have a chat and tell you all about why you can just pop it in front of that.
So these are my parkour shoes. These are a brand called Olo. Olo makes, in my opinion, the best parkour training shoes. They are the leading brand. They've been doing it for quite a long time. Now you see, I got these in August. I have worn all the way through the front of those.
Wow, man.
I've been using these a lot. So that's
they call it beating.
Yeah, oh mate. And then look at like the front of all the stitchings tearing apart. Like I've completely gone through these set, and I'm going on a trip soon. And I need a new set.
Yeah.
Right. I am going to try speak with these guys because I think they're awesome, and I'd love to get some support from them. Olo.
Olo. Shout out to Olo. Give this guy a sponsorship deal. He's going through your shoes like there's no tomorrow.
Oh mate, these are very nice.
And that's important to have the right shoes, right?
100%.
Right.
So I'll always
that could mess with
100%.
Everything, right?
Yeah. So like for example, I love Jordan 1s. I think they're the awesomest shoe ever. And
I used to play basketball in those shoes.
Yeah, exactly,
bro. I struggle to walk
I don't get it. So I'm even wearing some now, and it's like I think they're great. And there is certain times that shoes like that are needed. Funnily enough,
needed.
Well, like will assist
to look lit?
that is to look amazing. No, it's
Why you bailed?
So there's a guy by the name of Michael Kodori who used to train a lot. He doesn't really do it much anymore, but he was at a world-class level. He was one of the few Australian guys at the time to be at that level. And his whole thing was he could take impact no one else could take. Jeez. I'm talking 6 meters to concrete with no roll.
Wow.
So just to his feet and hands. And he took it, and he'd walk away no injury. There's people that just jump off of tall things.
Right.
And there's Kadori who did it well.
And he's dead now, right?
No, so he's going to an event overseas.
Jesus, in a wheelchair?
But no, that's what my dad was saying.
Helicoptered
in. we spoke with him in person. Dad's like, so how are your joints? He's like, I'm 100%. He is more healthy and his body is better than most people I know.
Shit.
100%.
That's crazy.
So he wore Jordan once because they have crazy, especially the high tops, have ankle support for one. They have a big flat sole so you can feel your landings while also having a very nice, big, thick sole.
Right.
So essentially, you're not getting that slap on concrete with your feet, which is a lot of time that causes bruised heels, bruised balls of your feet.
It's a shock to the bones.
100%. It goes all the way through.
Yeah.
So there are certain times for different types of shoes. I believe Rolo have done a good job of doing a big in-between. I think they take impact on a very good level.
Yep.
They're the grippiest shoe I've ever worn.
Right.
So that's the thing is the main thing is grip, because if you jump and you slip out, that's the leading thing of injury, other than inexperience and doing something you shouldn't be doing for your skill level.
Yeah.
So yeah, what you're wearing is always important. Say even there's Joe Scandrew who does pole slides. If he wore what I was wearing for pole slides, he'd have a lot of burn wounds. So you have to be wearing like big jackets and jeans. So
protective wear
100%.
Without wearing protective wear.
Yeah, because we're never going to wear helmets as much as a
wear
bunch
padding and shit like that.
No.
Would that help?
No, I have this question a lot. So I didn't even realize till recently actually how much we acclimate to just our body, because pretty much you get used to your circumstances very, very like to the nearest specification. So you can feel as your shoes are wearing down. When I change sets of shoes, when I get a new set in the next couple of weeks, I'll have to, before going back to the hardest stuff I can do, first of all, wear in the shoes, and for two, get used to that new feeling. So when I got this watch, I never had worn anything on my wrist before. And even when I wasn't training, just walking around the house, I didn't realize how like dialed I was to what I was doing, to where there was 2 weeks I was scraping this thing on the wall and like it would bump into things. That's this thick.
You're just not used to having it, right?
100%.
And you just got like a really heightened sense of body awareness.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm so used that I can kind of optimize where I'm moving around to this close to a wall. And then I had my watch on, and that's that when I realized, I'm like, man, I'm so dialed to what I have.
And you have to be, right?
100%.
Because parkour is about millimeters.
100%.
You know, even less.
Even a lot of the time. So it's.
Let's get back to your checklist.
Okay.
Because I love the tangents, you know, and I love going on tangents, but I want to finish that checklist.
Yeah.
Just for people who are watching that are just like super curious, you know, especially young people wanting to get into parkour and not having the exposure to places like where you work, for example, or even just yourself and coaches like you. So like somebody who is training out in a rural town wants to get in. He's listening, or she is listening to this podcast and hopefully and taking notes.
Right. So, and kind of an extension to check yourself is always making sure that you're not only mentally ready, but you're at the skill level. There's a lot of time that people are pushing their limits when they shouldn't be. Or not pushing their limits. They are pushing above their limit, which is the most dangerous way to train. Because the thing is, a lot of the time, parkour is good enough where if you have enough of a foundation where your technique is good, you can kind of push above your skill limit and be okay for most of the time.
Right.
Which not many other sports that involve danger can do that, right? But eventually you're going to slip up, eventually. So anytime I see someone doing that, as long as like I feel like I know them well enough to kind of, you know, because I'm no one's dad. I'm not going to go and tell people what to do, but I'm also not going to sit by and see someone like knowing full well and clear that if they don't change, they will get hurt. I'm not just going to let that happen.
I like that Jimmy the Giant quote. I think he said, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And really understanding where you are at your skill
100%.
level.
Yes.
So important, right?
Oh, yeah. Because otherwise you will be not only confused because you don't know where you're at, but also just you will feel uncomfortable because you
will kill yourself.
Yes. And your body will know that you're doing something you shouldn't be doing.
Sure.
Because a lot of the time pushing past fear, which again we'll go more in depth about, is you're being told by every part of you to not do it. There's in no way, shape or form should we be doing what we're doing most of the time.
Yeah.
Or at least we're not supposed to or meant
I think as a kid, it's quite normal to want to jump off things and
100%.
climb things. But as you get older, you start to realize,
maybe not.
I don't want to hurt myself because you bought a car or you know, got a girlfriend or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay, so back to the checklist.
Yes.
We've got check the surfaces. We've got check yourself before you wreck yourself. All right. Warming up,
making sure that you're ready and you feel good.
Yes. And how many things are on this checklist, Bob?
Oh, mate, I could keep going. But it's like there's always going to be more things.
All right. So let's maybe because I want to talk about so many things.
Yes.
Let's go maybe to the last two. Well, if you can make it concise.
Yeah. Okay. Because again, there can never be enough pre-prep.
Of course,
and that's actually a very important one that I did recently for that jump I mentioned before.
Okay,
is pre-preparation for specific challenges.
Okay,
so when I say challenge, a challenge is essentially a move or a type of movement, a flip, a jump, a landing. If I ever say pre or precision, that means precision jump. P-R-E, pre.
Yep. What does that mean?
Precision jump.
No, I mean what is a precision jump?
A precision jump is landing precisely. It's pretty much if I say.
And is that because if you don't, you will die?
A lot of the time.
Because it's on small, ledges, for example.
So I want to make clear as well. We're going to make a lot of jokes about we will die, but I get a lot of parents coming up to me when I'm coaching going, is parkour inherently dangerous?
Man, and every sport is inherently dangerous.
Right.
You know what I mean? What do you say to MMA athletes?
100%.
You know what I mean?
So on that standpoint,
yeah,
I can confidently, I will tell you why, but I can say it's not inherently dangerous.
Sure.
As weird as that sounds.
Contrary to what you see on.
Contrary to what people believe, because all the stuff that goes viral is not. Oh, man, everything
you
is
walk
dangerous.
out on the street and get freaking knocked out.
But if we're keeping it on the same level as even below driving a car, because on a highway you're this far away from everything.
Sure.
So pretty much parkour done in a certain way is not inherently dangerous. I believe there is certain athletes that I have seen get to a crazy high skill level and never not once do something that was risking even a broken bone. It's, again, always possible, but it's just not going to happen. It's just very unlikely.
Exactly. I think it's the perspective from which you look at it, because I would imagine most people view parkour as art. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful motion that you're watching, much like any sport. If there's an element of danger in there, there's an element of excitement.
Yeah. So again, just to make clear, we're not parkour most of the time is safe, especially in a gym setting. Come to Apes Parkour, Botany. It's great.
You know what? We're going to have Che's dad on, who will totally disagree with
No, it's it can be done well. You just have to have the right guidance.
For sure.
So that's why
we're not here to put anybody off. We're here to, if you are interested, almost prep yourself for it.
It depends. It's very case by case. It depends on the person. So say for myself, I do want to push my limit. I want to see how good can I get? How far can I push it? Where am I ranked to everything else? And also just as well in parkour, it's not always competitive. It is competitive, but it's not like, am I better than this person? It's just what level am I at personally?
You guys seem to celebrate one another a lot, which is so great to watch.
100%.
You know what I mean?
That we get so much more stuff done that way when you have a supportive community. But so again, with prepping a jump, there's always going to be that on no matter what level. So even on the roof gap I did, or on a jump that's this big on a curb, there's always going to be a level of prep involved. It's just how much prep and how extensive it is. So say for my jump I did, I'd been to the jump before, I'd looked at it, I'd seen it with my own eyes. I knew roughly what the dimensions were. So how tall I was dropping, how much impact I was taking, and how far I had to clear to get over this gap. So I know the dimensions. And I take it to a safer environment like a gym, a gymnastics center, or Apes Parkour. I'm able to make a setup, similar crash mats, softer landings, and do the jump hundreds of times. Because you can't do hundreds of jumps to concrete no matter how good your tech is. Over time, sure. But in the same day, you're just going to burn out. So you need to prep and make sure both mentally, okay, I am ready for this jump. I can do this jump. As long as I do it to the best of my ability with the best technique possible, I will be okay. And physically be able to ensure that you will. That's the difference. A lot of people say, if you can do it at ground level, you can do it up at height, which I actually completely disagree with. Because, again, case by case. It depends on the person. There's a lot of people I know that are crazy high level athletes that are really good, but they're so scared of heights that if they were stood on top of a balcony, they wouldn't be able to do it. Right. So
That's interesting.
Yeah. So and the amount of people that do parkour, you'd be shocked that are petrified of heights.
So I have a question. If you don't have access to a gym, especially a gym that's set up for parkour or gymnastics, for example, where would somebody prepare for these jumps?
Grass, sand.
Right.
Grass and sand are pretty much your best friend.
Okay.
I think it's still a hard surface. So in your head, you're still going to be scared because you recognize there is a level of risk involved and a chance of injury. Maybe not very likely, but a chance of injury. It's not just like a foam pit where you can even get injured in a foam pit, but it's very unlikely unless you completely don't know what you're doing or you're just being an idiot. So if you don't have a facility available to you, I would say do your best to just take it very slow. Maybe watch some tutorials on YouTube, but don't be held to that. Too many people are so held to like, oh, if the YouTube tutorial tells me, no. Everyone is different. They have just made the most broad way to explain something so that people can learn it.
Yeah, should be inspired by it,
Exactly.
not totally influenced by it.
Right. So
back to the checklist. I really want to nail this checklist before we go off on more tangents because I love it.
Yeah.
So again, we've got 3 really important things. I mean, they seem like pretty much the bulk of what you need to kind of
that's the vast majority of things
do it.
I'll go for before one jump.
And what would be the last thing that you...
Last thing, I'll try it. What's the most important last thing that I haven't mentioned yet? Because there's so much. Be making sure that, is the jump worth it today? Is it something you can come back to?
Okay.
Because a lot of time people are very tied down to like, oh, but I really want to get it done.
Right.
And I get to it myself. Unless you've done it, unless you've really been in it, it's hard to kind of, to the same extent, get it. But when you work on a challenge, especially when you've put time into prepping it, which is the last thing we talked about, then you're almost tied to like, I have to do it. I have to. I can't back out, which is a very dangerous mentality, saying I can't back out. I think a lot of people say like, oh, it's stronger to back out than to just do it, which I in some ways agree with, in some ways don't. I think that it is stronger because you are doing something, you're going against what you really want to do so that you can come back to it and you won't get injured. But also, it's always going to be cooler to do the jump.
It is, but that's your body, you've got to listen to your body, right? 100%. And that's your body telling you, not today.
And there's
for whatever reason.
There's a lot of times that I've been ready to do a jump, and I'm sure that if I did do it, I would have been completely fine. And I actually wasn't even worried about getting hurt. It's just recognizing that there's a couple of different things. Is the risk of injury heightened today? In which case it's always a no. Is it something I can come back to? Meaning, okay, I don't have to do it today. If you're overseas on a trip, you have to be careful because obviously you're overseas, you're very far away. But then you may not come back to that. So you kind of you can then justify kind of pushing your limits a bit more. But I'd always say train around your 70, 80% max capacity. And then every now and again, push your 90, 95 of what you are capable of or what you feel your skill level is at. Because I believe if you push at a lower level, then you will get further. Because you will be
it's more sustainable. Your body's able to sustain it more.
Yes. So it's just, is it something that you need to do today? In which case, even sometimes you don't need to, but you still decide I want to do it.
Right.
So you just need to just remember that you don't have to do it right now. Even if it's later that day, you can go to a different challenge. And the other thing is just being courteous of other people. Because a lot of the time there will be other people, like you said, wanting to support you. They'll be there with cameras and be stood there for half hour while you're just being like, oh my God, this is scary. This is difficult.
It's a lot of pressure.
100%. But you need to make sure that you're not just going to push this for a long, long time and waste other people's time.
Right.
And if you're going to do it in 10 seconds, cool. Don't rush it. And most people would rather hang around for 10 minutes than 10 seconds because we know that we're not going to be around an injury. I don't like training around sketchy people because I think training around sketchy people will make you sketchy. What you're around will
they're going to push you to do things that you're not ready for.
So. Right. And even then, like I know I have complete and utter control over what I do.
Yeah.
But I believe that being around that does create that scenario where you could get injured it is more likely.
Definitely.
So that's why I love training around Dom because he's been around it for 17 years. He has more experience doing parkour than I do alive.
Okay.
So I trust him. and he's been around me enough to know how good I am. So I trust his judgment on whether I can or can't do something. It's always down to me. It's always within myself. It's always if I am ready, but it is always a nice guide to have someone like that. So that would be my checklist. It would be always make sure that mentally you are ready. So check yourself. It would be check your surfaces. It would make sure physically that there is no things going to move out the way, nothing going to crack or break. You don't want to break other people's property because the reality is most of the time parkour is done on private property, which again can be avoided. You can avoid it. What English was that? It can be avoided, right? Okay, you don't need to, but there is a lot of the time there is challenges on that property. But the best thing to do is go to that person and just say, hey, I do this sport. I'd love to try this on your property. Is that okay with you? Most of the time they'll say no and then just leave. But it's the courteous thing to do. Then would be make sure that you are completely and utterly ready. Make sure that you have prepped the jump either on that day or beforehand, depending on how difficult it is. And then making sure, is it something you have to do today? Do you want to do it today? Does it have to be done today? Whatever.
All right.
Everything that you would go through, and that's for one jump.
It's crazy.
Right?
But that one jump could be your last jump.
Exactly.
You know?
So you have to be able to simplify it. And I've got to the point now with more experience, you can do that whole checklist in 5 minutes less.
Of course, yeah. You know what's interesting? The way you speak about it, it's not unlike, hearing an athlete in another sport talk about the nuances of their sport and how important it is to, be prepared really and be well trained and, to have yourself at a skill level where you can compete and obviously do the jumps and do the activities safely somewhat because you want to keep going, right? You want to keep pushing yourself and injuries can hamper that. You mentioned Dom.
Yes.
Dom Tomato.
Dom Tomato.
Dom Tomato. That's right.
Dom Tomato.
Yes.
The rock star of parkour.
Dom di Tommaso.
Yes.
Right. Is it Italian?
I actually don't know.
Tommaso is Italian.
I feel like probably.
I know Tommaso's.
I think I've been told at some point.
Yeah. I'd love to meet that guy. He sounds super interesting. And you know what? It's a credit to you that someone like Dom is taking you under his wing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He must see Dom 2.0 in you.
Yeah, look, I'm very thankful for everything with Dom. Like what he has done for me is crazy. And again, even if he hadn't done anything, the fact that I'm around him is such a big deal to me. And again, I started parkour July of 2023. Wasn't that long ago.
No.
I when I mentioned earlier, I did trampoline for a very long time.
Right.
And I was able to come over to Sydney from Byron Bay and up my skill level with some coaching and some better trampolines.
Yeah.
But I got to that level, so I had good aerial awareness. I think aerial awareness is possibly the best base for parkour in the world. And I wanted to mention before when we were saying like what sports were I going through before, is parkour is almost always a secondary sport to people as it starts off. It's always people have another background. A lot of time, there's a lot of soccer. People come from soccer, and that's why their foot placement is so good. They can step on something this small and stride off it one after another. There's that. There's people that come from.
So there's certain sports that can cross over into
translate
parkour
into certain things
and be applicable.
100%.
And
I believe
really
parkour is transferable to almost anything, even not physically. Just
what about cricket?
I feel like the hand-eye coordination is there.
Sure.
And I feel like being able to spot. So essentially, for people that don't know, spotting is being able to, usually on a flip precision, meaning I do some form of flip and then land precisely on something. A landing, meaning a wall, a platform, a rail, whatever it is. So a spot is essentially when you get over your head, because there's always going to be a point in time in a flip pre that you can't see where you're landing. So you'll see it, you'll start your flip, you go over your head, you can't see it, you see the sky.
Right.
And then after you see the sky, you'll see it again. How quickly can you see that landing again? So I think with people that did ball sports, especially like catching and stuff, hand-eye coordination is there. So anything using their hands and feet is good. And then also being able to very quickly see a small landing coming at you very quick.
Wow. It's incredible to listen to you talk about these really finite nuances about what you're doing. It just shows how passionate you are.
Oh, mate.
And like it's someone at your age. Like, how old are you now? You're 17?
17, yeah.
17, right. Fuck, to have that drive and ambition it's really inspiring.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
But I want to get back to Dom. Because he's a pretty influential guy in the parkour scene. He's an icon, a legend, like incredible guy. Would love to have him here if he ever wants to come on. But his impact on you, it sounds like it's given you such a drive,
Yeah.
I want to say, to be better, do better, but not just for yourself, but for the sport.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that.
Yeah. I'd say that's accurate. I think, to me, in my opinion, and I think most people that do parkour, I believe he's the greatest parkour athlete of all time.
Right.
I don't think anyone is more great than him. I think he has done things that no one else can ever do. Like, he was doing
He's got an
things.
incredible story.
Oh, mate. Yeah.
You know?
Like, what he came from. I mean, obviously, he was always like, he was never in a very bad scenario, but he did have to work his way. He did have to find it, you know? And I think he is someone that all athletes should look up to, even outside of parkour, because he has that drive. I mean, man's like 32 now, and he's still doing really high level stuff. He's still pushing his limit, and he still has the same drive from when he was 15. I think he's one of because the people come and go. You know, we've had some amazing athletes come into the sport and leave. You know, even Kodori, who was kind
due
of
to like injury or lack of
a lot of
motivation.
Things. A lot of things. Yeah, I can speak about that because there's a whole topic of that.
Of course.
But like even Kodori, who's his like protege, he made Kodori so good, and they train together all the time. And Dom really is such a great mentor to. He's helped me. I mean, he helps. If anyone that has trained with Dom knows, he is happy to help anyone of any skill level who's been doing parkour for any amount of time, any age, anything.
He seems like he just wants people to love the sport as much as he does.
Because he loves the sport so much.
Yeah.
So but I can say he really helped Michael Kodori, got him to a crazy high skill level, got his name out there, took him on crazy trips. Like, he really helped Michael. Then there was a guy called Zach Fagali who trains at the Apes Parkour Gym, and he never really trained outside like a lot. He was always known as the Apes Kid. Like, he genuinely got to the craziest high skill level. He was world class when he was training. He's just come back to training recently, but he had like a year and a bit off. Not to injury, he's just a busy guy. And he's driven. His work ethic is not like nothing else, and he is driven by Dom.
So that's something I really want to talk about, because if you're young, wanting to get into this, how important it is to surround yourself with people who are driven, love the sport, but also are, going to lead you in a safe way into the sport, because they want you to have longevity.
100%.
And how important is that for you, for anybody wanting to get into the sport, to find those people almost like from the beginning, if they can?
I think it's the best base. I mean, I'll talk about, there's a, remind me later, there's a guy called Samuel Farley. And he's the whole reason I've got all of this. Like, I'm so
Samuel Farley.
Right. Spider Sam.
Spider Sam.
That's the guy.
Why is he called Spider?
Oh, it's just, he jumps on everything.
Oh, really?
I mean, since a little
kid. Scares the ladies.
Yeah. But no, so Zach.
Has he got 8 limbs?
No. So
you just don't know, man. Prosthetics are pretty dope these days.
Mate, yeah. So Zach's work ethic is greatly inspired by Dom. So this guy all he wants to do is just make money and be good at every sport he does, and just support his family and all that stuff. Wow. Like, he's got what everyone should have.
So you're surrounded by some really good people.
Yeah, and because he works really hard all the time.
Right.
So Dom helped him. I think anytime he was around him, because he always promoted him as like a crazy and up and coming athlete. Yeah. He always made sure that he was supported. And I mean, Zach's Instagram used to be a fan of Dom Tomato. Because that's how inspired he was. And then Dom went to him and said, "Zach, you got to change your username." He said, "Oh, why?" And he goes, "Because you're better than me." Because he just.
So Dom sounds really humble as well too.
100%.
I mean, he must know that in any sport, there's always going to be new people coming in that are going to be better, that have literally been watching him and his journey, and kind of like he's the base and maybe the reason why they're doing this as well too. And now, has that kind of inspired you to want to coach others? Because you coach as well.
So I think, I think I started coaching, would have been, I mean, I'd coached trampolining for years, and then I started working at Apes in July last year.
Right.
So yeah, it'll be a year and a couple months. But I was already coaching before that. I think even before I worked at Flip Out, I knew, even as a young kid, kind of how to break down challenges and help people understand when they don't understand. Because the type of movement we do is quite confusing if you haven't done before.
Of course.
And I have found ways to break it down. And obviously with experience, I got better. But before I coached, I was coaching. People, like, I would do stuff and then I'd see someone struggling, and if they wanted help, then I'd go give them help. And I think Dom has definitely inspired that in me, as much as I already did it before that. But he's definitely inspiration in so many different ways, because he helped Zach, then he helped Sam, who we'll talk about later, who just built him up on everything, because up and coming athlete. And now what he's done for me is amazing, where I'm helping film his YouTube videos. I'm featuring in all his YouTube videos. He's posted me on his Instagram and like all these things, as well as training with me all the time, giving me advice on tricks that I can't do, always everything he can to help me. And even this shirt's from Barcelona, and that was an event that he was at, and I was able to contact him and say, hey, literally 6 hours before my flight left, I went, hey, I booked the flight like an hour ago. Is there anything I need to know? How can you help me, right? And he was able to speak to the event organizer, make sure I was sorted out when I got there.
Awesome.
And then this was in Spain. Like, I don't speak Spanish. He was able to, everyone knows who he is. Yeah. And I was the guy. I didn't just show up as another kid at this jam. I showed up and Dom introduced me to the best athletes in the world. Right. I was introduced to Dom.
He definitely sees something in you that is potentially the future of the sport.
Look, I'd like to think so. Yeah. I'm always going to do my best to get there. Yeah. I believe I'm capable.
And speaking of getting there, you are going back to Barcelona.
I'm going back to Barcelona.
To compete.
We'll see. I think I do plan on it. It's I have to be very careful because it's quite far away. But I'll go to Oslo, which is in Norway. Then I'll go to Berlin, Germany. And then I'll go from there to Barcelona, Spain. And then there's a good chance I'm going to stay in England for a little while. Okay. But yeah, so that's exciting. I see Dom over there. And again, Dom is the biggest name in parkour.
Sure. I mean, and to be associated with him so closely.
Oh, mate.
It's
such a blessing. Like what he's doing for me is honestly, I will always be grateful. Speaking
of career, is there a career in parkour?
There are people that have done it. That's the difficult thing, is that there's not quite as much money in the sport yet as we would all like.
Sure.
There's a lot of sports in the world that have just crazy amounts of money.
There is also a lot of sports that don't, but people are still very passionate about.
Awesome. So I think I do believe that there will be a point in time that parkour will blow up. I think people already know what it is.
Yeah.
But people will watch it like UFC, where even UFC is still kind of niche, but millions of people watch it, right? And not everyone that watches UFC does MMA. And I believe parkour is a sport that most people will want to do. No. You don't have to do parkour to enjoy watching parkour.
Sure.
I believe. Again, I do it.
It's like any sport, right?
Yeah.
I kind of play basketball. I like to watch basketball.
Yeah, right. But obviously, as a practitioner, I'm always going to think it's the most exciting sport.
Sure.
But yeah, I believe it will blow up. It's just when.
So you've got like brands like Red Bull.
Yes.
Who really push the sport. Mm-hmm. Are there other organizations that believe in the sport as much as, say, Red Bull does and is pushing it? Or do you need more organizations?
We do need more. Either way, we need more.
Right.
Either way. I think the organizations we have that have been made by parkour, for parkour, like Olo. Olo is a parkour shoe brand. Sure. It can be used for everything else, like Vans. Vans is a skate shoe brand. Sure. Parkour athletes wear all their shoes, right? I believe we need more like that. I'd also love to have some form of big name, a celebrity or someone that would get into it, because I believe that just pushes it. Even like I watched again Jimmy the Giant video a bit ago, and even just him saying like,
he's great.
Yeah,
shout out to Jimmy.
Yeah, he breaks things down really well. But
he does. Yeah.
He was like, okay, why is parkour not mainstream? Why not? And he was even saying just with as simple as, and I don't believe this is a massive factor, but I believe it definitely has a effect, is in skateboarding, for example, they have like Justin Bieber skates, Tyler the Creator skates, having those people that people really like follow and enjoy like seeing do something, they'll be like, oh, that's cool, I want to do that. And
Can I give you my take on that?
Yeah.
And you're right, you need the exposure. And you've had exposure, which, you know, when you see controversy in any facet of life, it brings whatever that controversy is about to light and exposes things. We'll talk about figs and whatnot in a second. I feel like for a celebrity to want to take part in parkour, they have to have an understanding of their body. They're going to be athletic.
Yep.
You're probably going to have more sports people get into it.
100%.
And I think once you get to a certain level, it's got to be lucrative enough for them to put their body in that much potential danger.
Yeah.
For them to actually go, okay, I'm going to go into this.
Yeah.
Because as you know, like, you know, I mean, it's just like fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like any fight, we'll talk about UFC in a minute too as well. You know, there's always potential to
100%.
get hurt.
And look, that's
the hard part of it catching on to celebrities, for example.
Yeah. That's like what I was about to say as well. It's like that's the difficult thing is a lot of brands find it difficult to join because all they see of parkour is the rooftop stuff.
Right.
Which, again, I want to make clear the rooftop stuff is like less than 5%.
Right.
There's a big roof culture. Even Stora, which is the most followed parkour like team in the world, they've got over 10 million subscribers on YouTube.
Wow.
Dom has 3.5 million followers on Instagram and then 400 and like just under 450,000 on YouTube.
Sure.
But Stora have that big name and they made a short movie called Roof Culture Asia where they just went around jumping on roofs, right? And that's the stuff that goes viral because it's crazy.
Right. So there's different sort of like facets of parkour.
100%.
And are you like, you know, we hate the rooftop guys?
Not even. I think I don't really dislike in parkour any kind of style. I'm happy. Maybe I don't do all of it. I try to do as much different styles as possible.
Right.
But I believe that I don't really dislike. Again, I'll talk about more fig stuff because there are.
We will touch on that too.
Yeah.
Is there a certain style of parkour that's considered and revered more than others? I would imagine jumping from rooftops is pretty.
That would be the leading one. That'd be the leading one. I think like I have no issue with it because I believe I have an issue with it when people are doing that shouldn't be doing it. Right.
Can you do it?
I've done it.
I love what your dad's doing right now. Bro, they can see you.
Dad, you're on the camera, bro. You look like a numpty.
Just walk past, bro. It's fine.
You look like a numpty, bro, crawling on the floor.
It doesn't have to be there's nothing professional about this. Trust me. I'm just checking everything's working.
Yeah, if you press record on everything.
Yeah, oh my God, I did a 1.5 hour podcast last night and I forgot to press record. Rookie error.
But no, yeah, I think like I understand why it pushes people away from the sport, which is the only reason I would dislike it.
Yeah.
But I still again, the only time I have an issue with it is when people are doing it that shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
I think most of the time, the vast majority of the time that you will see it, the athletes that are doing it are athletes that are ready for it.
Right.
So in like Paris or anywhere in France, it has a big roof culture because the roofs are fucking made for it. In the UK, there is a big roof culture because all the roofs are just flat concrete with crazy like stuff on top of it, right?
I can imagine.
And
it's like a playground.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to touch on that whole concept of the person doing it has to be the right person doing it because that wrong person could just fuck it up for everybody.
Everyone.
You know what I mean?
Everyone.
All it takes is that one minority who are not doing it right and not taking, you know, doing respect to the sport that are just going to ruin it.
100%.
And that's the stuff that gets online.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
100%, because it will go everywhere.
Yeah, people want to see the falls. They want to see the pain. They want to see the injuries and shit.
Dom
not
has,
the art.
Exactly.
Because it's beautiful to watch. Like since I knew you were coming on, I deep dived, man. Yeah. And I'm just sitting there going, holy fuck. Yeah. Humans are incredible.
Oh, mate. It's like
wow.
It's the best representation so far of what we are capable of.
Oh, man.
And I think it's like, it's difficult because, that is what goes viral.
Imagine when we become cyborgs. Dude, we're going to be jumping off fucking crazy skyscrapers.
Because then it gets boring because everyone can do it. That's the thing is it takes time and discipline and like a certain mentality for it, right?
Yeah.
And it's difficult because, so Dom has the most viewed Instagram video, like on Instagram, right?
Right.
It's like 710 million views.
Is that the one that he...
falls on his face and falls in the water.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right? I love the one that he did where it's in one of the videos that you sent me where it was...
Down the stair set?
Down the stair set.
Yeah. So that is the Leon 25 stair set. That's why I believe in a lot of ways he's the greatest because he did stuff like that multiple times. He's
the
first
human, man.
Oh, bro, he did that in like 2017, 2018. The next person to do it was last year.
I feel like if I was to have him on here, I wouldn't even know when he comes in. He'll just be there. I'll be giving him making a coffee. Go, what the fuck?
Why are you here?
The guy's climbed up my balcony. And
mate. No, he's a nutcase, but he's so great. He's awesome.
Yeah, he sounds like a good dude, man.
Yeah, so pretty much that got 710 million views. He showed me the insights of that Instagram video.
Are you walking in the shot?
that video on Instagram, you got insights and stuff. So there's watch time. So again, I don't know how accurate Instagram is with it, but if you added up every single second of someone's life that has been played on an Instagram feed, over 210 years.
Damn.
Right? And then only plus like another 6 months and 2 weeks, whatever. For reference, my most viewed Instagram video, which is because he reposted it, has 120,000 views, which I'm pretty proud of.
All right.
And that has like, I'll double check, but it's like a week of watch time, something like that.
That's hectic.
It's got 210 years and like 6 months and 3 weeks and 6 days and
Crazy.
5 hours.
Crazy. Can we get back to that controversy with figs? Because I think that's like, it's important to know in any sport, just these things that are going on behind closed doors.
Yes.
That are like hindering the sport.
Yes. Sorry,
Because
I just want to get this up. So my most viewed reel, 6 days, 16 hours, 50 minutes, 33 seconds, which is quite a lot of time for people to watch that.
God, they have those stats?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's on this video, right? It's a gainer over a gap in the rain over oysters, right? So
if you need to follow Che's Instagram in order to see what he's showing me right now, but it's pretty hectic, and I can see why your dad freaks out.
Yeah, dad doesn't come watch much of the time. But no, yeah, like I also, before we move to Fig, I just want to say as well, like, back to Dom, he's the guy. He's the goat. He is the goat.
The goat.
And I think like he is someone that has pushed the sport to new limits and brought it to more people than almost anyone else. And like, I'm again always grateful for what he does, and he's like such a great person to have around.
Yeah,
I'm so like lucky to have him in Sydney and have him around Sydney Parkour, because that pushes it a lot.
Yeah,
and he I'll see him overseas again this year. So yeah, like everyone go check him out. Dom Tomato, DOMTOMATO on Instagram, YouTube, all that. He's the guy.
You know what's funny, when you hear somebody talk about somebody else in the way that you speak about it, it really shows just how great that person is. If you know what I mean, when all you've got is just nothing but love, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
and you're very lucky, and I want to say, not just luck, because you probably worked your ass off for someone like Dom to go, all right, this guy gets it, and I want to take him under my wing and help him with his career. And so you want to make this a career?
I would love nothing more. I think it's like, I've been saying to Dad now, like, I would be happy if for the rest of my life, if money wasn't an issue, obviously, is if I just spent the rest of my life jumping off of walls, eating and sleeping. Like, I'm pretty damn content with how I'm going right now.
I reckon you'll get to a stage where you'll be eating and sleeping off walls.
Off of walls. I already do, to be honest.
You know what? The only way to jump off walls is to be the wall.
Become the wall.
Become the wall.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, even we sleep at Apes Parkour every now and again. Or only instructors only, obviously. But yeah, like, you know, we've slept at the top of like massive platforms and stuff, and just like
is that to just like soak it in?
I think it's,
you know
like,
what I mean? Is there
just,
like
I'm very lucky to be surrounded by the instructors, like the people that work at Apes are really good people.
Right.
And I will always, that's why I can happily always back it up. I'm only going to support things I believe other people should use or try, or what I already use. Yeah. I believe Apes has done such a good job of creating not only crazy high level athletes, but a great community, very supportive community. Because like, as much as I'm very happy to say that pretty much everything in like all parkour communities that I've been around so far are pretty well awesome, there's always going to be someone or something. Apes has
humans,
done,
right?
Yeah.
People.
Apes has done a good job where it's just awesome. Like the vibe around there, you feel supported. Because coming into parkour as a start, even myself who had a background in flipping, I felt like it was daunting. It's like you're around some of the best, and you're like, you see someone doing a warm-up jump and you can't do it. It's like the easiest thing for them, and you just cannot. It would be the hardest thing, right? But they've done a good job of breaking down challenges, making sure you do it the way. Making sure you're doing it the right way so that you won't get injured, and then, because if you get injured early on, it turns everyone away.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah,
well, it's all about culture, right?
Yeah, and Dom's first sponsor was Apes. Like they've supported the best. They, you know, like,
so you're kind of following his trajectory.
Similar.
Am I speaking to a future Red Bull sponsored athlete?
Again, as I said, I'd love nothing more than to get money from doing the sport I love and be able to live off that.
Yep.
But as I said before, the real thing is that there's not a lot of money in the sport
Yet.
There will be. It's just how soon, because I have to be in a full-time job soon. I'm 17. I have to get moving.
Sure.
Right. So it's just whether the difficult thing is if I have enough time between now and when it has money in the sport, then I can continue rising my skill level. So when there is money in the sport, I am good enough to be a professional at the sport.
Sure.
But if I put too much time into that and nothing else, then if the money comes into the sport 2 years later than I would like it to, then that way I have no other skills and I'm stuck.
Yeah, but there's so many facets to the sport that you can be a part of as well too. There's filming it, there's coaching, there's all. You can still be immersed in a sport and not actually be competing.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get to a point where financially, you can be sound. I want to go back to a controversy that I clocked when watching videos about it, and it was really fucking interesting. I couldn't believe that. You got certain organizations and sports that almost want to bring another sport down because it kind of encroaches on their sport. Yeah. And that's the sport of gymnastics. Right. Which when I watch parkour, there's such a high level of gymnastics in parkour. There's also things like breakdance. There's so much in it. So much crossover. But just really interesting to see like an age-old organization like almost bullying your sport into submission.
Yes. So again, so that we can clear it up for people that don't know. So parkour is quite a young sport.
Right.
It really people had always done it. I believe it originally, again, it came from France, and it was kind of originally a way to keep the French military fit and able to move around very quickly and competently over obstacles and stuff. And I forget the exact French way of saying it, but it's kind of sounds similar to just saying parkour, which is why it was shortened to parkour. But obviously everyone can't pronounce French words. So it started as that, and then in late 1990s, there's a guy called David Bell who kind of founded parkour, if you will. Parkour was always around, but he was the guy that was like, okay, I'm not doing this as exercise. Well, he was doing it as exercise, but he was jumping across rooftops. He was doing what we now call a cat pass. Was
he a criminal?
I don't think
because
so.
I would imagine parkour would be so great if you're a criminal running away from the cops.
Mate, anyone that I've seen that has any skill level in it has got away every time. On the news, everything. Or you can, when you do it for long enough, you can tell that guy's done parkour. Right. You can tell. Yeah. But I think so David Bell, late 1990s really brought it. He was on a couple movies kind of doing it. Forget the movie name. I watched it with Dad recently, but he kind of brought it to a bigger stage where he was in movies doing massive roof gaps and doing what we now call a cat pass. He was doing vaults and everything, right? So parkour at its core is quickly and efficiently as possible, A to B.
Right.
That's the preface of parkour. It's been changed a lot over the years, but that's where it started, right? And so that kind of movement, everyone has a different way of interpreting it. So now free running, the way I like to break down parkour and free running, because there was a big debate, which there's another Jimmy the Giant video on it, but there was a debate for a while, parkour and free running, what's the difference? So parkour is A to B, quickly, efficiently as possible. Free running is A to B, very stylish and as cool as possible.
Flips.
Exactly, right? And sometimes it's A to C to D to B.
Sure.
It's back to A.
Here, there, down, boom.
So the idea is that we're going to have the skills that we need to get from A to B as quick as possible anytime we want.
Yeah.
But also we can do it in the most difficult, cool way possible, right?
Well, they're both equally great to watch.
Absolutely.
One's got this element of danger.
Yeah.
Another has the danger, but it also has
and it has control and technique.
Some finesse to it.
But yeah, so we're quite young. Obviously, gymnastics has been around for a century now.
Yep.
Or even longer. And pretty much parkour has had a couple miniature governing bodies over the years. Again, I'm not very well versed in this, but I know enough. Pretty much they didn't have a cemented governing body.
Right.
And FIG, Federation International Gymnastics, they kind of saw the success of parkour in the last 20 or so years mainly, and they were like, okay, this is big, this is cool. And for a start, people a lot of the time will ask me, even when I did trampolining, what's actually the difference? To me, the first thing comes to mind is rules. Gymnastics has so many rules.
Sure.
And the thing is, you're never going to get individual gymnastics. So people that will stand out that are very good, it's much more difficult because everyone looks the same when they do it. Because they have a set of rules that are, if you do a tuck, it has to be at this certain degree level in relation to your body. It has to be all these different things.
It's more about perfection.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you think about it like this, where even in MMA, the first time I saw it used is in MMA. You could put a silhouette filter on someone and tell who the fighter was.
Yeah, right.
Like Conor McGregor had that style that stood out. When he knocked out Alvarez, you can't miss it, right? In parkour, you put on a silhouette filter. Anyone that knows the athletes will be able to tell one athlete apart.
Yes.
In gymnastics, you go to the Olympic videos of them on the trampolines and you put a silhouette filter over it. And even if you know every name of every gymnastics athlete in the Olympics, you would barely be able to tell them apart, if any.
Yeah, well, that's what I kind of like could see the difference between them, where, you know, something like gymnastics, you're just taught to do
exactly the same
as
the
everyone
move
else. And that's it, as like a robot almost. And when you've got parkour, it's dirty and it's more, you can make it your own
moves.
Yeah, you can
like
totally make it
there
your
are things
own.
that have never been done before in the last 5 years, and there's new moves being made all the time.
Yeah, right.
And that's why there's important to have different styles of parkour. So my style is very, I like to think it's explosive, it has high level difficulty and tricks, and it mixes in high level of distance and impact, right? Now there's a lot of people that focus on flow, which is connecting movements very smoothly, right? And in that you create like new vaults, so a new way to like take an old vault, add a twist to it, maybe a flip out of it, and then you got a new thing.
Wow.
In gymnastics, they have their book of tricks, and that's the book of tricks.
Sure.
That's it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, even when I was high level in trampolining, people are like, oh, you do well in the Olympics. I'd go, yeah, I do a lot of things that are even harder than Olympic athletes are doing, but I get 0 points for it because I didn't tuck the right way and I did a kaboom rather than a backflip.
Sure.
Like it's a
You're
lot of
innovating.
Right.
You know?
So gymnastics was like, okay, I can see that because a lot of kids would see, especially as parkour athletes come into the gyms, all the little kids that their parents chucked them in gymnastics going, oh my God, this is just boring. This is because there's even like in every sport that includes acrobatics, I've heard stories in trampolining and parkour, kids going into gymnastics and being like, okay, I want to try do a double front flip. And they're like, nah, you can't. And just killing the dream of you can't do anything that your goals are.
There's a certain
yes
set of things you need to do first.
So they'd see,
we can get to there.
These gymnastics kid would see parkour people come into the gym.
Yeah.
Go, oh, I want to try that. And it
that
was
was
fun.
interesting to see in some of those videos
100%.
how some gym owners who are part of the gymnastics world would frown upon parkour athletes coming in and doing their thing because you're almost like, you're making gymnastics cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
And again, gymnastics athletes can do triple backflips on one setup.
Sure.
We can do that on any setup. Obviously, triple backflips of just one
and
example.
on any surface.
On any surface. Outside, inside,
That's it.
whatever. Soft, hard surfaces, whatever you want. So it's like you have to kind of recognize that. And as a kid, you're going to think that's cooler. That's why apes, we do birthday parties and stuff. Even when kids don't really want to learn parkour, we have a lot of parents walk in to apes. And again, for people that haven't been, or you can look up photos, it's like a warehouse, concrete floor, some metal bars, and a bunch of wooden structures. And parents kind of walk in and go like, it's just like a big like wooden area. Right. And then within 10 seconds, the kids are sprinting onto the floor and there's high places, low places, climbing, getting behind things. Yeah. That's what kids naturally want to do.
Of course.
That's why the iPad is the killer of all of that. So even I've had kids come into apes on their iPad and look up and go, oh, wow. Because it's just that level of, it's not some fancy play park with 16 different colors. It's all that. Obviously, kids are going to be drawn to colors, but just being able to climb and fall and whatever, that's what is fun. Yeah. So in parkour, especially in gymnastics gym, you can just throw yourself like an idiot, which you should never do otherwise.
Sure. Because you've got cushioning and foam and stuff like that.
So gymnastics kids saw that and went, fuck, I should do this. And then they get into it and they've got that background. Again, I like I said before, aerial awareness is, in my opinion, the best background to have. Right. Because I will never just have a big tumble to my head. Because I believe I know where I am in the air at all times. Sure. A lot of people that have never flipped before, they're crazy high level in parkour. All it takes is on a vault, your feet clipping and you're flipped upside down.
So let's get back to FIG and the controversy where we're dancing around that.
Yeah.
I really want to hit that home because that's an important aspect of the history of parkour and probably a huge reason why it's not getting the traction that you think it is.
So there was FIG essentially did a vote, not with the parkour people. They voted between all the governing bodies nationally that are in all the different countries. Should we include parkour as a gymnastics sport?
Right.
And because gymnastics voted they wanted parkour as a gymnastics sport, we're a gymnastics sport, right? Which all of us don't agree with. They didn't ask a single leader, even again, like a lot of
Did they ask Dom?
They didn't speak to anyone.
Guys.
We just found out that apparently we're a gymnastics sport.
Right.
And we're like, then they are saying that they can, but they're trying to add all these rules and regulations. Like, I believe it's important to have a certain quality of coaching of parkour because otherwise you'll create dangerous athletes.
Yeah.
And leave a bad mark on the sport and make it look bad.
Sure.
But also they're trying to essentially say like, okay, we have to certify parkour judges. And I'm like, what? You coach like people jumping around in a very specific position all the time.
Sure.
It's not what we are. And for also the culture is completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different. And I think it's like the fact they did that is why I'll never respect that. And I've even been asked to compete for overseas competitions. And the one thing that's conflicting and annoying is that in a lot of ways it could have been very positive if they just did it right. Because there was already governing bodies happy to govern parkour, right? But we're just so small, we don't have all the money to kind of do all that a lot of the time.
There's a problem with regulatory bodies that come and get involved in anything.
Right.
You know, they don't understand.
I've heard that in other sports since talking about it.
And in so many other facets of life as well too. And so they're never going to benefit your sport. It's just trying to make you inclusive so they can control you.
Yes.
You know. But having said that, are there bodies here in Australia that support, or organizations that support parkour?
Well, there's always going to be like the gyms. The gyms always support parkour.
So you guys are mainly relying on the gyms, right?
Yes.
There's no actual governing body.
There used to be a thing, I don't know very much, again, I came in very late, but there used to be a thing called, I believe it's Parkour New South Wales or Parkour Australia.
Sure.
And that was kind of a regulatory body and it kind of shut down.
Did people get confused with Parks Australia?
I'm not sure. But
I came here to camp. These motherfuckers jumping all over me.
They weren't really, from what I've heard, they weren't really doing a great job.
Right.
And it kind of shut down. And then recently there's a couple people in Sydney Parkour that may or may not bring it back, and they're doing quite a good job of it because it's led by parkour athletes that understand the culture.
That's what you need.
Right. So there's a guy called Alex Robinson, who is based, I believe, out west a little bit. And he just started a thing recently called Conquest Parkour. And Conquest is more of a easy, safe, simplified way for young kids to get into parkour that don't really have much else other than their iPads to do.
Sure.
Right. So he's even been able to organize events in Darling Harbour where kids can come along and, you know, learn from, I think he invited me to coach one of the days. I wasn't available, unfortunately. But even like my friend Alice, who coaches at Apes, and friend Michaela and Daniel, who are good athletes, got them to come in and just created a little circuit for kids of like, okay, in this, you know, circuit, we're going to do rolls, we're going to do vaults, and we're going to do jumps. And they just teach them that with little obstacles, and right? So kids can get into that. And then it's good that a lot of Sydney councils have been good enough, thankfully, that they have started creating parkour parks. So parkour park is amazing, where there's a couple in Sydney.
We got skate parks.
We've got
so
skate
it makes
parks.
sense too.
Parkour parks would be great.
But how does that work when it comes to liability?
Right. So a lot of people, we get some weird backlash from people going like, oh, you're just going to sue the council and all that. It's like, no. It's a very big misconception because obviously, as I said, unfortunately, a lot of the time we do end up on private property. And obviously the worry is that we're going to get hurt and then we're going to sue the owner, right?
You know what? All it takes is that one person to do it.
Right.
To fuck it.
And then it just
ruins it. Yeah.
So it's a difficult kind of balance. But
are there stronger organizations internationally for parkour?
I have to learn more about the topic, but I think there's a few. There's nothing like a big like FIG. FIG governs gymnastics.
Right.
That controls gymnastics.
Yes.
There's not really one of them for parkour as of yet. As much as gymnastics thinks that we are a gymnastic sport, we are not, and we will never accept that. It's frustrating because if they went about it the right way and spoke to the right people, then they will have it would have had a great effect on parkour because they have money. And that's the thing is
And you need that for exposure as
absolutely.
well. So,
I've been invited as an athlete by the gymnastics center that I go to compete for the gymnastics center in FIG parkour comps.
Right.
So it's
that'll almost be like betrayal.
yeah.
You'd be the
And
Judas
I
of
find it
parkour.
difficult because I want to do well, and they actually put like proper prize money up. And for myself, it could be great, but it's difficult because
Dangling the carrot.
yeah, and it's just not right. And gymnastics made a thing called free G because they realized that parkour was never going to.
I read about that.
Yeah, they're never going to. Parkour will never accept gymnastics as the governing body.
Right.
So they created something called free G, which I believe, in a lot of ways, is positive, but it could be a lot more. The reason why is that they are creating athletes that think in their heads, oh, I can do it on this sprung floor and soft blocks. I can do it outside. And they go try it outside, they get hurt. And then it's grouped to a parkour. People say, oh, look, parkour is dangerous. No, it was taught by a gymnastics coach.
In a safe environment.
In a safe environment.
Padded floors.
Gymnastics coaches don't know how to teach parkour. Yeah. They understand movement, and I'll always respect that. Like the guys at the gymnastics center I go to, I respect so much. They understand body movement and placement like no one else.
So why is this not a Olympic sport? I mean, skateboarding is an Olympic sport now.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I mean, look, there's high degrees of skill in skateboarding for sure. But it's interesting how the Olympic body is starting to incorporate these things that aren't really considered a sport.
Yeah. Because breakdancing and skateboarding is new, and that's like I understand it, and I've read into it a lot. Because for me, I think in a lot of ways, again, it could be beneficial to have in the Olympics or get the name out there or that. For one, there is some negatives which I'll go into, and for two, it's very difficult to be objective. That's the leading thing. Is that parkour is so many different facets to it. It's hard to be objective as what is good, what is bad, because there isn't really good and bad. There is good technique, bad technique.
Sure.
But otherwise there is different styles, which is why I believe there is certain competitions that have done a very good job of that.
What if they were to judge it based on the degree of difficulty and whether you make it or not?
Right. So that is a good format, which unfortunately the Olympics seem some form allergic to. They're just like, no. Like it has to. They essentially Olympics would create parkour rules, which I believe is incorrect. They shouldn't do that. And FIG is very much intertwined with the Olympics, which is why it would be such a bad thing.
Yeah.
So it's
but
difficult.
it might need to happen to further the sport. Unfortunately,
that's
it's
the
just like putting MMA on television.
That's the difficult
thing. They have
thing.
to change the rule set.
100%.
You know, just to make it easy for people to watch.
Right.
So are you guys willing to embrace maybe just some sort of regulation just to get eyes on it?
I believe it would have to be in a different class. I would say it wouldn't be a parkour thing. They'd have to class it something else. And they'd have to go about it a very specific way with the right people. Rather than just voting amongst non-parkour people if this is right. Because that's just, Yeah. So I think that they should go to corporations, which may end up saying no because they don't. The thing is, the other thing I was going to mention is a lot of parkour athletes kind of don't want it in the Olympics because. Well,
this is what I was going to ask you because there's many sports, and I would imagine skateboarding would have been one of them, where they just don't belong there.
Exactly.
And they're not because they're not worthy of it, because they're not as skillful as those athletes. It's just the Olympics is cringy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who even watches it anymore?
Right.
It's so
a lot of athletes
irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know? And you've got a sport like parkour where, like you said, you can't judge it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
so subjective.
You can only celebrate it. I think once you start judging it, then it becomes a competition.
Right.
And then you've got guys trying to compete with one another, and it just takes the essence of the sport.
Yeah. See,
out of
parkour,
it.
like I said before, parkour is a team sport.
This is why I reckon you shouldn't call it a sport. Because sports denote competition.
Dad was saying that before.
Yeah.
He was saying it's difficult because sport involves some form of grading system.
That's
most
right.
Of the time.
And competitiveness.
Right. So it is. I do believe it is more an art form or an expression of movement.
That's what I
else.
would probably agree more with.
Right.
Yeah.
But I
it's
think
an art form.
I think it is, and I think on a more extensive level, yes. But I also think it's important to keep it as underneath a sports banner so that it will bring more people in. Because a lot of parents will kind of be like, And I think as someone that wants the sport to grow, having it as this is a sport. This is something kids can come and do after school. This is something that kids can do to learn discipline and all that.
Right.
Because there's again, I want to.
Do you think dancing is a sport? Because it's very similar to what you're just saying.
I believe again, same as parkour, it can be if done in a certain way. It has to be classed. Yeah,
it is considered a sport. Like you've got all those ballroom dancing competitions.
So it has to be classed in a different way. It can't just be parkour. It has to be style competition, free running competition, difficulty competition, big trick competition, which I want to touch on in a sec. But pretty much, I believe that I would like the sport to grow. So there's certain things that I would like people to view it as.
Yeah.
But that includes certain different things. I believe the only way I would be like content with it in the Olympics would be if they went to corporations which again they may turn it down, like I said before, but go to corporations or not corporations. Just like there's a couple competitions run over around the world. If they went to them and said, "Hey, we want to partner with you," which I believe Olympics may have too much of an ego to do, but say, "Hey, I want to do like Olympics X." There's a competition that just happened recently called Kings of the Concrete.
Right.
If they went to Kings of the Concrete and said, "Hey, I'd love to have you in the Olympics. Can we do Olympics parkour, Kings of the Concrete?" Because Kings of the Concrete and the second one would be SPL, Sport Parkour League.
Right.
Those two competitions and many others, but those are the leading two at the moment, have found a way to make parkour a sport and how to objectively, or as close to objectively as possible, make it judgeable.
Right.
So
are they involving people like Dom as a judge?
Dom, they fly Dom out as a guest, but Dom judges sometimes, and he has in the past. But I think they this time they did like Flip Like Z, which is a big influential guy in parkour.
So it's people who are parkour athletes that are judging,
yes,
as opposed to judges who are just
So I believe Dom did actually judge SPL.
Okay.
But Kings of the Concrete is run by a gym brand called Tempest in US.
See, I think that's like the Red Bull events. You know, when you've got a company that can sponsor events, that's probably the more organic way to expose your art form. Because I'm not going to call it a sport anymore.
Yeah, okay. Because I agree. I think I'll always default to sport, but it is an art form.
It's an art form.
I think it's difficult because Red Bull did a thing called Art of Motion, which was the biggest parkour comp in terms of name, because Red Bull is Red Bull. It's the big brand,
of course. And that's an actual great branding for parkour.
And Dom brings in some of the biggest numbers for the Red Bull accounts on Instagram. I
can imagine.
Right? Yeah. So they made a thing called Art of Motion. They did it like quite a few years in a row. I think from like 2011 until like 2022, 2023.
Wow.
And then they cut it off. I just don't think they were making enough money. And also it's difficult because a lot of athletes started like, they judged it a little bit, because as a big corporation, Red Bull is like, okay, we can't do it like this because we have to make it like watchable for these people. And they didn't quite understand like kind of the intricacies of how parkour is. And we want it to be represented how it is, not how it is more marketable, as much as more marketable would bring more people. It's a very weird balance. But I think Art of Motion was good to have, as much flaws as maybe it did have at the time.
Yep.
I thought it was great. I thought it was easy to watch for people.
Yeah.
I thought they could see, okay, they could learn the names of the athletes. They could see, okay, what tricks is what. They had a commentary on it. They did it in amazing locations like Santorini. They did Santorini for a while, and then people got annoyed that they were jumping on their rooftops. So then they moved it onto like these two pirate ships on the water and made like a platform between the two.
Yeah, right.
And apparently just the athletes were saying the course wasn't all that great.
Yeah.
So that shut down. But
it also almost makes it like a novelty.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it just, it looks stupid.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. Whereas Kings of the Concrete just happened on Venice Beach, next to the skate park. They made a massive setup, hand built, plywood, walls, bars, everything. Amazing setup. So people on the boardwalk walk past, go, massive group of people, big, massive like mountain of obstacles, and the best athletes in the world. And the way they ran that, is the best I have seen so far, that I believe parkour could be watched from a standpoint away from practitioners. That was exciting, like UFC was exciting, right?
And even then, was that more widely accepted by parkour athletes?
Yeah.
As opposed to like some NAF competition.
No, because they did it well. That's the thing is, I was on the bus to work at Apes. I was on the bus getting to work, watching this live stream, which I want to touch on because they did it so well.
So what is it that they did that was so well compared to other events?
So the first thing is just the quality of the live stream. A lot of things, like, it's very difficult to run a good live stream, especially out in
tried
Venice,
here in this apartment.
like out in Venice Beach.
Yeah.
So difficult.
Does it have to be live though?
No, but I believe the live format is good. I think it would bring more eyes. Like UFC to me is so exciting to watch because it's happening right now.
Of course, but it has to be so heavily promoted.
Oh, absolutely.
And like to people who, you know, wouldn't watch it because they're the eyes you want. You don't want just the parkour people to watch. You know what I mean?
So
you need total newbies to the whole sport, to the whole art form.
So I think it was good because people that didn't quite understand the sport could watch it and still find it exciting.
Yeah. So having an organization that can make it more palatable to a viewer who doesn't understand it, and then allow them to go down the journey.
So the first thing that I really noticed, because a lot of live streams just look like a trashy iPhone Instagram live, and it's all grainy and stuff, is this was all shot on crazy high resolution cameras for a start, right? Everything was no grainy, it was just all high resolution, really well shot, like actual cinematography, not just people like, it showed the full course. It showed the athlete leading up to it, the fear, the expression on their face.
Yeah.
It would show the full run with a commentary, clear audio on a commentary, the right people commentating, people with a bit of charisma, people that do parkour, who can actually explain what is going on. And it was judged by parkour athletes, right? Then they'd do their run because it was in a format of head-to-head, which is really easy to watch, which a lot of time doesn't quite, like Dad was saying as well, like if you just get the right match up against the right person, you can get to the finals, right? Whereas you might lose to someone else, which is, there's so much that goes into it. But I believe it was good because head-to-head, it would be one person does one run, one person does another run, and then after the runs, the judges would go either left or right who wins, right?
Right.
And they do a run, it's judged next to the other person's. And it was based on difficulty, execution, like everything. I think that's good because I competed last year and it was based difficulty, creativity, execution, fluidity.
Right.
And that, I believe it's a good format, but it's very difficult when it's so subjective. Yes. So I would do my run and then there'd be a judge for each subject.
Right.
And it's quite difficult to kind of be objective with that because there's so much more that goes in. Like what actually is difficulty?
And plus your style plays into how you perform that. Like
absolutely.
Are they going to judge you based on, because your style isn't as good as this guy's style?
And it's like,
it's your style?
To me, it's like difficulty is so broad because like it's quite difficult to link two difficult moves.
Sure.
Right? Or it's quite difficult to land a certain trick really well. But that's landing it really well is execution and connecting it is fluidity. So what's what? And I think having it without those, like the judges just had in mind, okay, it's based on these things. But because it was judged by parkour athletes that have made thousands of parkour runs in their life, they go, is it a good run? Is it a bad run? How was this run better? Right? So it would be often judged on, okay, what hard tricks were done in the line and how well were they connected? Right. That's usually how it was done. So what they'd do, the person would come in, you have to be strategic. You don't do your hardest tricks first because you have to do 4 runs all up in the men's division.
You'll preserve your body as well too.
So you can't do all your big tricks out the gate because then you might make it to the next round but you have nothing else to do. You can do the same trick again, but it may not be scored the same. So they did that very well. It was all high resolution. After they'd finished the run, the whole run would be replayed from a different angle in slow motion. And the commentary would break it down. So people that don't know what the hell kind of air equation did they just do?
Yes.
They go, okay, that was one flip with 4 twists.
Yeah, right.
So they jumped off one leg, they swung it, they did 1 backwards rotation with 4 twist rotations. And that broke it down so more people can understand. And then, look, it doesn't take a genius or a practitioner to see, wow, really high platform, really low platform with a gap in the middle, and someone did a double side flip over it.
Of course.
Like anyone can understand
it's that. It's like the struggles that jiu-jitsu had with their sport and getting eyes on their sport. Production value does play a huge role. The athletes play a huge role. So you've got these exciting humans to watch too. But it's also finding an organization who's willing to put money into that. And the only reason and the only way they're going to do that is if they know they're going to get eyes watching it.
And it's difficult because
there is a lot involved in trying to push an art form into the mainstream. But
Yeah.
then there's also the whole concept of when it goes mainstream, is it going to get diluted?
Right.
Is it going to get ruined? Should it stay
It's
underground?
difficult. And that's why a lot of like older heads in parkour are a bit like, no, this is our thing. This is what we do.
Yeah. And
So-
like parkour is almost like this anti-everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anti-establishment, you can't tell me I can't do that.
Right.
That kind of vibe.
That's the thing.
That's the vibe I get from it.
Yeah.
That's
And
what draws me to it as well too.
in a lot of ways it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a lot of parkour athletes just like all that boring kind of like housing estate, like brutalism we love, because it's like,
I love
it creates the best kind of
man.
obstacles and everything. So it's difficult, but again, back with the live stream, like it was all there was proper transitions. It wasn't just like hard cut to the next angle. It was mixed together well.
Of course, yeah. Like I get it. Like that's a huge element to any sport or to any competition that you want to watch.
Yeah.
So you've got like proper visuals of everything. But that's also, it's very hard to do. You know what I mean? Like not every organization can afford
Right.
to display it in that way.
Mhm.
So that's why for me, it almost begs the question of, does it need to go to that level?
Doesn't have to.
Because it's
But-
never going to be represented in that light all the time.
Yeah. So that's a difficult thing. Is it's a weird balance, because parkour athletes want nothing more than for parkour athletes that are really disciplined and like want to be able to live off the sport.
Yeah.
That's the difficult thing. So we all want to be able to do the sport
Yep.
and just do the sport. But
Did you do a mix between coaching and competing?
I
Could
mean,
that
I
be something?
have.
Yeah.
I have. There is definitely people that do it.
Yeah.
It's difficult because coaching for the rest of your life is never really going to like completely and utterly cover everything,
Yeah.
which is just the difficult thing. Unless
You just need more Red Bulls.
yeah, hey,
Do you
like
know
that's
what I mean?
that's
Like
the thing.
more companies like that who specialize in that.
And it's so difficult because unless it has been started by a parkour athlete, it's difficult to keep it how we want to keep it,
Yeah.
which is so difficult, which we just have to like, after a certain point, we have to realize we can't have all these stipulations. We need to let what we want into the sport. And then when we are training with each other, we keep it how we want to keep it.
Yeah.
But
It's crazy when you think it's entertainment at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And it's really entertaining to watch. And it's, you know, you're watching humans pushing their bodies,
oh, mate,
you know, beyond
absolutely.
anyone's capabilities. So you'd think there'd be other entertainment companies that would see the value in it.
I believe there will be. It's just difficult because people find it hard to. That's the thing, is why Kings of the Concrete was so good. Is that corporations will be able to see, okay, this is parkour. Just on before the final run or the second to last run. It, by the way, spoiler alert, it was won by a 17-year-old
Wow.
called Rai Abiang, and I believe he is. I got to meet him in Barcelona last time, and he's a crazy level athlete. Like he's been doing it since he's 4 years old. Like he's that guy.
Wow.
And what they did really well is showing how actually scared he was and how he was able to push past that.
Yeah.
Because he prepped a trick that the guy before him that he was versing did as well. Who, by the way, he was up against at the moment, who everyone believes to be the best in the world, or the best of all time. Where his skill level, Ellis Torhal, that guy is the best in the world right now, in my opinion. Again, hard to be objective, but overall,
Right.
he can do everything. He can do big things without flips, big cat passes, big jumps, big precisions with the hardest level tricks I've ever seen. His calling card is his hard level tricks, but he can do other things. There's a lot of people that, like Rai Abiang, I believe, has some of the highest level flips in the world, but
You got to send me links to these guys.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
And like, I'm hoping that anyone watching this either knows these guys or is going to go check out these guys
Oh,
as
mate,
well
yeah,
too.
they're insane. Like,
They sound incredible.
it's another level of athlete.
I
but
can imagine.
pretty much Rai was like up at the top of his run under pressure, like, okay, in the next minute, I have to do this run. I can't hold the whole live stream up.
Right.
But also, he was trying to do a one-legged double backflip over a gap, down a drop, right? And that was trying to go off of the back of the run of the best guy in the world at the moment, who is the 2-time winner of Kings of the Concrete in a row.
Right.
He was trying to go for his third crown, right?
That's a lot of pressure.
Right. And he is 17-year-old. He's like a month younger than me. And he was stood there like, just yelling, stomping. And I'll talk about rituals in a sec. I think rituals are a really important thing for
Sure.
parkour athletes to break fear. He's there stomping, yelling like Jesus, running up, going back to his takeoff, right? And he was able to break it. And then after landing that, continue with one of the highest level parkour runs I've ever seen. And after it, you can just see like, he did it. It was just like, what? And that was the semifinals. And he beat the best guy in the world. And then went to the finals and beat this other guy and won it. Like that's how it can go, because that's the thing that's always exciting. In UFC, I love watching UFC. I love it so much, but Jesus Christ, there's so many boring fights. Right? So
Who you got for 315?
315. Oh god, that's bloody
Bilal.
Bilal. That's right. Of course, I forgot. JDM. JDM wins that easy.
He's a beast.
I think it's just he's gonna throw him around and beat him up. But you never know. Bilal is he's better than everyone thinks, but also yeah. Anyway, it could end up being a 5-round decision.
I want to talk about the fear aspect, because that's a really important aspect of parkour that I think can translate to anything in life.
100%.
So if you could tell me just briefly,
Yep.
like your take on how you deal
With fear. Okay. So just to preface it, I think fear is, to me, one of like the biggest parts of the sport. And it's even quite important to me, funnily enough. Because that process, learning to face fear, is most of the sport for me. Because anyone can learn the skill with enough time, effort and care. But the fear aspect, some people just can never get past. Now, for me, breaking a challenge looks like this. Again, it was like my checklist earlier, but mentally, which includes some of the things from the checklist earlier. But first thing is, again, making sure it's within my skill level, which is the first thing. Because most of the time, I won't even consider doing a challenge unless I can actually do it, right? Because as an athlete, you can walk around and joke around going, oh, look at that front flip. It's 8 meters. Let's do it. Haha. And then there's times of like, oh, wow, there's this challenge. It's over this gap. It's 2 walls. There's a rail. You have to land on a rail, which is something that is a rounded surface. It's a thinner landing thing that you could fall off of. So you identify what the challenge is. You recognize, is it within your skills, within your ability, physically and mentally? Can you commit to it? And can you actually execute it? And then there is the process of prepping it, making sure that it's still within your limit. And once you know that you're capable of it, then the proper mental battle starts for me. So then that includes mainly, again, as I'm going to keep saying, is just making sure you are capable. And almost for me, reminding yourself things you already know. I can do this jump. I've done stuff harder than this before. All I have to do is this, in this order, and focus on each jump one at a time. Don't think about the last jump at the first jump. Make sure that you are methodical about your whole process, and then deciding whether or not you're going to do it. And if you decide not to, then cool, why worry? And if you decide that you are going to do it, then you have to think, okay, have I done everything I can do to stay safe, or is there more I can do? In which case, do more. If you've done everything, then go, okay, I've decided I'm going to do it, so I know I'm going to do it at some point.
Right.
I know that I'm safe. I know that as long as I do it how I would do it inside of a gym, for example, on soft surfaces, if I do it the same way I do it in there, out here, I'll be okay. And I can ensure I will do that because I trust my mental. So a lot of the time you're capable of things, as I say, train at 80%. You're capable of things much harder.
So it's preparation.
Right.
Yeah.
So think about
when you're really overly prepared, you have a good understanding of.
Right. And the final thing
and
I've
that
learned.
kind of brings the fear down.
Yeah.
Right?
And the final thing more recently I've learned is from Dom, is actually like the closest thing I've seen to real life, the quickest form of manifestation. I think, okay, how does this, and I close my eyes, I think about it, okay, what's the challenge? Okay, it's this, I run, I step up, I jump, I flip, I see my landing again, I spot, my feet touch it down, I tap off the front of it, I go, I vault, I land. That's it. Okay, how will that look in my eyes? Okay, it's like I'm in an action camera view of a GoPro, right?
It's like you're actually doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
or you've actually done it.
Right. And the actual thing, the most important thing to me is when you're visualizing it, don't visualize you messing up, because it becomes reality.
Of course.
So I think, okay, this is
guess.
Right. So then when you get to that part in the jump, then you're going to freak out, right? So think about you doing it successfully again, successfully every time. And even think about the worst case scenario and how you can save that, how you can bail, right? So you can trust, even if I mess up, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
So then you get to the point where you go, okay, I know physically I'm ready. I know that at one point in time in the next little bit, I am going to do it. It's going to be done at some point in time. Do I have any, am I on the back of any injuries that could be affected? No. Do I feel good? Yes. Am I warmed up? Yes. Have I checked my surfaces? Yes. Just run over your checklist of, okay, this is making sure I have done every single thing I can to make something quite dangerous as safe as possible.
Sure.
And then trust that. And then get to, I've say this to my friends, I say this to myself. when you know you're going to do it at some point, there's no point standing around for 30 minutes knowing you're going to do it, but just standing being scared.
Sure.
Why be scared for 30 minutes? You don't need to be.
I love Dom's technique of 3, 2, 1.
Right. And I use that every time. So again, I think that's quite important, where I went, okay, I'm going to do it soon. No point standing around. Even though as much of a psychopath as I sound, when I get home and I'm watching about the clips from the third person almost, like, my favorite memory of it is being scared, being absolutely terrified. Like, it's weird. It's like I enjoy being scared. It's a weird feeling, right? Which I don't think everyone does. But it is common. You see it in parkour athletes a lot, but there is a lot of people I know that are just happy when they do the jump and it's done. Mm-hmm. But I enjoy being there, stood on top of a jump before I've done it, being like, fuck, this is scary.
Do you think it makes you appreciate you actually executing
the completion? Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. And I think I'm trying to maximize my boost from this jump. Right. So I want to boost my confidence, but not too much. So I do something that is out of my level.
Yeah. And you're just slowly leveling up every time.
So I live it for a little bit. I enjoy the fear. Deep breath. This is why I do it. This is why I do it all. Mm. And then I go, okay, I don't want to waste my friend's time filming me. There's no point standing around being scared. Mm. Okay. And that's where rituals come in. Mm. Now, rituals are something that athletes do. Pretty much every athlete I know has some form of ritual, extensive or not.
Yep.
And you can have multiple of them. You can have one of them. And they essentially, your brain attaches that to times that you have done something that scares you and being okay.
Right.
Which is why I never get people to do their rituals or do a challenge that they're going to get hurt on.
What's your number one ritual?
My number one ritual is always the 3, 2, 1. So anytime I'm doing a challenge that scares me, it's a 3, 2, 1.
Right.
Right? Because it forces you. I go, and it feels like 10 seconds. I go 3, fuck, I don't want to do this. 2, Jesus Christ, I'm about to do it. 1, and then the fear's gone. Mm. It's just your mind's quiet. And that's how, on the most dangerous things I do, I just don't get hurt. Mm. Because...
Well, you sound like you go into any of these things just so well prepared.
Right. Because I can't afford to get injured. I can't.
Well, that's it. And speaking of can't afford to get injured, I want to get your dad here, because if there's one person who can't afford for you to get injured, it's this guy.
Yeah.
Jeremy, come on down. He's been sitting there listening to this because I want to get his take on this whole concept of his son doing this art form.
Yeah. No, because it's like you have to be able to attach something with a good memory.
Yep.
To doing something that scares you, because otherwise you won't be able to bring yourself to do it.
Yeah, and I love that you visualize, because I'm a huge visualizer.
Yeah.
Power of visualization is everything. You can come closer if you want to that mic. Oh, even closer. Even closer if you can. And maybe even push the mic close to you, you know? Yeah. That'll be good. So what, like, when Che said to you, Dad, I want to jump from this building to the next building and I want to make a career out of it, how did you react to that? What was he doing before it?
It was mostly trampolines.
Right, okay.
So, yeah. And over time, it had got bigger and bigger to the point where I didn't really want to watch it.
Right. So you were kind of getting used to the fact that, okay, my son loves to do crazy stuff.
Yeah, this has been going since
Did you know about
little.
parkour?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
we always watched videos and
sure,
but it was always trampoline parks.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then when he started doing it and you could see how passionate he was about it, did that change how you looked at it?
Not really. I mean, you just have to go with it, you know. I was into Supercross as a kid.
Okay.
So,
right.
you know, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
He talks about fear from his perspective with regards to actually doing the art form. I would imagine there's a different level of fear that you go through watching it, right? How do you deal with it? Like, how do you prepare yourself for, oh my God, my son, or does he do it and then show it to you later? You don't really have a chance.
Yeah, sometimes it's that. No, anything big, he needs
to okay it with you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right, cool.
And some things I can't give him approval.
Yeah.
Because it's illegal. Some of it's illegal.
Of course.
That's just the facts.
Also, do you think that you don't want him to have you in the back of his mind second guessing this move
that's
as well
the number
too?
one thing.
Yeah,
that's the thing. And so he wants me to come and watch it, but
and film
even
it.
when I do, and film it, and when I have to pretend I'm zoned out, I'm scrolling, breathing, and he's like, "You're watching," it's like the 3-year-old, you're watching, but I can't project that because it's he can't be thinking of me.
He could potentially hurt himself because of it.
Yeah.
Do you feel? I don't know if you talk to other parents who have kids that do parkour.
Yeah.
Do they feel the same?
No.
Look, not well.
No.
Yes
they don't.
and no. I mean,
they don't. I think there are parents that worry.
Sure.
But like there is a lot of parents certainly just go, I can't. Whereas he can tell me to not do something and I won't do it.
Oh, that side. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess there's a level of care. I mean, how much do you care about your child?
Well,
how involved are you in that child's life? Some parents don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of them don't, but a lot of them do. I think
Right.
it's just like, it depends on the parent. It's very case by case.
Yeah,
but
it's their
I think,
approach.
yeah, but say like the first example that I spoke to the most is the parent of Sam Farley.
Right.
And there's his mum, Lisa. She's been around the sport as long as he has. Like they've been around the sport like since he was 7 or 8. So she's been around it. She's been around Dom. She understands the sport. She's been around it. And she has got to a point where she feels that if she tells Sam that he can't do something, then that's holding him back. And then he will second guess and get hurt, right?
Of course, yeah.
And she believes that he is capable of knowing his skill level and she should trust that. Whereas Dad's point of view, which I also I understand and almost agree with, is that there's certain life experience that an under 18-year-old just doesn't have, and even over 18-year-old just doesn't have, and a maturity level that is needed to do something that is a very risky jump that maybe younger people don't have.
Right.
Yeah, I've said that to Lisa, even when Sam was little, she gives him that complete say so. But for me, the fact is that teenagers make stupid decisions all the time. And I see the benefit of, that development of all these decision-making processes, but there's certain things where at the end of the day, I'm going to have the final say.
Of course.
Because there's certain things that the risk means, like particularly with gaps and falls, where it might be like he could get up and trip on, and there's that as well. So
I'm
it's
liable.
and it's over. So no, that he's still a minor, and there's got to be a what do you call it? A pecking order.
Of course. Yeah. It's funny that you say, at that age, they make stupid decisions. I'm 51 and I make some stupid decisions. I ride motorcycles. I do MMA. It's pretty crazy
to be doing it. Podcast.
100%. So I think stupid decisions is just wired into our DNA, right?
Yeah, look, and boys, and my primary, we got these different jobs. You're a dad, and at different ages, we have this thing. At this point, my job, is to get him, to keep him out of hospital, keep him out of the ground, keep him out of prison.
Yeah, you're right.
And to keep him safe. And that's that bracket. That's sort of 14 to 24 or whatever that thing is. And so we've got to do that. We've got to use this as a vehicle to just become excellent at that.
Of course.
Process.
Do you want to see him excel at this art form?
Of course. I mean, I'd rather he, excelled at
knitting,
chess.
My daughter's a hairstylist, so the only thing I've got to worry about is her doing a bad haircut and getting a bad Google review.
Me, he's that call, so he knows when every time he rings, he's got to get to the point that he's alive, and
of course,
not broken really quick. Because I'm like, what?
And but you seem to be very concerned and almost anti what he's doing. How is it that you cope with it, allow him to do it, and just continue supporting? He's going away overseas now, so he's not going to be anywhere near you to have that support that he might need if he was to get injured. So you're allowing him to go to another country to perform this art form that is potentially dangerous, but also potentially not. How are you going to deal with that?
Well,
Are you going to spend many nights on my couch?
what can you do? I mean,
Yeah.
I can.
Well, you could say
I
no.
could make. Well, yeah, but that's what based my decision around my fear.
Yeah.
It's not the way. It's not what I teach him.
No.
And it breeds fear
Yeah, that's
to
right.
anyone else. Because
Well, I think your whole perspective on fear is because of maybe what your dad has taught you as well.
there's certainly aspects, and there's definitely lessons that I've learnt.
Yeah.
I think fear is something that it's unlike anything else, and it's something that if used correctly, then it is a tool. It is like, it's almost a privilege. It's great to have.
Yeah, it can be a superpower.
Yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
fact
It's like
of life.
vulnerability,
Right.
you know?
And people that can't deal with fear can't deal with a lot of other things.
Yeah, totally.
And that's why I think that the lessons from parkour will, whether or not it's physical or not, I now know if I have a goal or there's a challenge in front of me, I know how to break it down into steps.
Right.
I know how to get past each step. I know what order to do the steps. And then I know how to get over it.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people struggle, they'll get a challenge and be like, oh, nah, never mind, I won't do it.
And that could be anything in life.
Right.
And look, you know what? That's an incredible thing to be proud of. If your
Yeah,
son's
look,
got this mindset.
And it's happened really quick. And that's the answer to your original question was that, it wasn't always like that. Not too long ago, through what I see as bad processes and bad guidance.
Yes.
He wasn't like that. He was stuck in fear.
Yeah.
Fear of everything, fear of things that there's no danger of. So, I think it'd be wrong to try and hinder this. I mean, you've heard him, you listened for a while, and
100%.
you just couldn't cut on the basis of, fear. I know there's risks anyway. He could be out in the world and he could be in a car. He could.
Yeah. No, there's risk everywhere, but
100%.
I think it's like you have to be prepared to kind of
Hey, without risk, there's no reward, right?
right, exactly. And also, like, there's certain level, I think, where I agree with Dad on a lot of fronts, is that there's certain risks that are just avoidable and not worth it.
Yep.
Where I of course there's the chance you get injured, but that's, like you said, anywhere. And like I said with the highway thing before, you're this much, that much, right? Which is, often a lot more severe than what I'm doing. But
And you're doing it more often as well.
Right, exactly.
You're driving more than you're doing parkour.
exactly. And there's certain things, even just with this trip that we're planning at the moment, where Dad's like, no, you're not going in that area. Like certain parts of London. Why?
Sure.
There's no point, right? As a 17-year-old, essentially by myself most of the time,
Yeah.
there's just certain things that if there was some massive thing happening there, cool, it's justifiable.
Yeah.
But just to pass through because I can pass through, why?
Yeah.
Right? There's certain things that are avoidable. The thing that, to me, why I have confidence, I think a lot of people struggle sometimes with like, oh, but that has heightened risk, so I'm more scared. Or I don't push my mental ability very much. They almost have like it's like, people with social battery that like they can only socialize for so long.
Sure.
A lot of people in parkour have that with a mental ability. So they are able to do something that scares them maybe once a day, right? And I don't have that issue. And I think it's because I have a certain level of confidence that I built up, that I know that I'm almost less likely to get injured on something that has a high risk than something that doesn't. Because I have like I said, with the checks and rituals, those two things alone, along with other stuff I haven't mentioned yet, makes you so, it's another level, which is where I've began to believe in flow state. I believe that actually is real.
100%.
And I think that when I'm there, when I'm different, I'm not the same person here.
Sure.
And that's why I was so confident with doing something, even with a roof gap risk, with a death risk.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I hate to put it in that context, but that's real.
Of course.
Right? And I think that I was so confident with that and not scared of it at all, which often is dangerous when people aren't scared of things they should be scared of. That's bad. But I think I was so confident because that's all I was thinking about. I'm only here. I'm nowhere else. I don't care if someone honks their horn over a car. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Which is why I've gone through every single step in every single minor movement of what I do, so that I can get rid of as many reasons that I could get injured as possible.
I think also too that ability to hyper focus is a great superpower, I want to
Yes.
say, especially for someone your age as well. So I guess in a way, one thing that I noticed between the two of you is there's a high level of respect. Even though there's the apprehension of what he's chosen to do as a career path, there is a respect and an understanding that, you know, you do take a lot of what your dad says into consideration.
I take all of it into consideration. It's just there's certain things at the end of the day, he is the be all and end all.
Sure.
But also I'm always going to process everything. It's like, I think it's important, as much as I am confident that pretty much everything he ever says, I can take as gospel and just take it.
Yep.
I believe it's important in every situation in life to do your own due diligence of, is this correct? Is this factual? Is this something I should follow? Just as a matter of habit, whether or not, of course I trust him, but I'm going to do it with everyone anyway. So that's a habit. I'm never going to skip that and miss stupid things that I shouldn't miss. Sorry.
There's definitely so many aspects of your character and your personality that I can see that your dad has imparted with you as well.
Yeah.
But also it's aspects that I feel like every young person should be exposed to.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like just to have that ability to overcome fear. We just don't know what kind of humans we would have as a result of
Absolutely.
that, right?
There's too many people that are stuck in the mud.
That's
and
it.
That's
And
why
the level of confidence that you have,
absolutely.
level of focus as well, and that ability to be humble, share and want to kind of like include people in a community as opposed to feel like you've got to compete and you've got to be the best. And, do you know what I mean? And that's a beautiful quality.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming, man.
Yeah.
This has been awesome.
No,
Wow, so enlightened.
No stress, man. Like it's I always will be happy to talk about it because it's what I do.
Yeah, you sound really passionate about this topic.
Yeah, there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm always going to try to bring it to a wider audience because I think everyone should experience it. And if it's not for them, then it's not for them. That's cool.
100%. Like this episode, you know, it's really going to connect with people who are deep in this art form.
Yes.
We're not calling it a sport anymore.
Yeah.
And it'd be great to maybe in the future do ones with other athletes here to discuss their journey in it as well and make it really specific. Because I'm approaching this like I'm just your average Joe, right? Who has no idea about parkour.
Yeah.
I have a very, you know, I want to say limited knowledge from what, you know, I've done research in the last few days.
Yeah.
But limited enough to go, wow.
Yes.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like this is happening and there are people out there that can do this and
you'll realize very quick there's so much other stuff.
Oh, I can imagine.
Per one life.
Of course.
Especially not even including people like Dom that have got a crazy level of life. You got anyone that has got this, they've got here somehow. Yeah. And the whole, every time I spoke to people about it, it's insane. Like there's so much stuff that goes into it. And I think there's a certain type of people that is attracted by this. I think everyone should try again. But there's definitely certain people that the sport is for. There are people that come in that just go, okay, this is for me. This is what I do.
Definitely.
Because all soccer, footy, dancing, whatever, I never was there. That was not me. And then I come in here and straight away, there, boom. And as much as I've always been someone that's like that stupid mentality of the first time I do something, I should be good. And I wasn't, of course, at parkour, as much as I had a background in flipping. But it's that one of, okay, I recognize I can be good at this and I'm not, which annoys me. So I want to be good. And I think pushing, again, as you said, like it's competitive in the sense I want to do well, but it's not competitive as I want to be better than them. It's that to me, I
just want to be better than yourself.
Right.
Better than who you were yesterday.
Right. So I believe like what my mindset was for my competitions and when I go into that is I want to prove to myself that I am at the level I believe I can be. Not better than someone else. I just want to prove if I put my time, effort and money and all that into something, then I can get to whatever level I believe I am capable of and get to that level. Once I get to that level and prove myself then it's dependent on where I believe that level is in comparison to everyone else.
Sure. And you can then level up from there as well.
Right.
So if there's something that you want to impart with finally to anybody wanting to get in, just something really brief, what would you say to any budding young person listening to this or even watching parkour and thinking, oh, that looks pretty cool. I want to do that. For
a start, I just want to say, like, I think everyone should try it. It's not for everyone as much as I'd like it to be for everyone. But I think no matter what you do, I believe you should do it. At minimum, if you're someone that wants to exercise more, then it's a great fun way to exercise consistently. Whether you do something like skateboarding or scootering or any action sport for that matter, or really even basketball or soccer, I think being able to fall and knowing how to fall is something that everyone should be able to do. As stupid as it sounds, I think that
Is that ukemi?
Yeah, the art of ukemi. Ukemi is the best way because there's so many people that will fall down one step and break their wrist.
Yeah. You know they have falling down classes for old people?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's like a form of self-defense almost. Like even
not falling, dexterity.
Right, exactly.
Mobility,
and
dexterity.
You'll limit the amount you fall over. Even again, Sam, he played basketball and mid-game, it was caught on video, mid-game, someone like shoved him over and he could have fallen and broken his wrist. And he rolled and he was back up on his feet defending straight away. It will make you a better athlete in whatever you do. Or if you're someone that sits around playing games, come do some exercise, man. Get coordinated. You'll feel much better and you won't have that want to be sat down all day. And I think being able to do that will inspire you, whether or not it's to do parkour more. But I just think everyone should be able to not get hurt. I think it's a pretty basic level.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of things in parkour that can translate to so many facets of life. And
as I said before, just,
even if it's the catalyst for it. Right.
And you'll know how to break down any challenge. If you have a goal in life, you'll be able to get there because you'll know how to break it down.
That's it.
And
I want to be an accountant. So I need to check the surface.
Yes.
And what about you, man? Like, for a parent listening to this, thinking, oh, my kid wants to get into parkour, it's freaking me the hell out. What's one brief piece of advice that you can give?
The benefits outweigh the risk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. Let's leave it on that. That's dope. I need to piss. So bad. I'm busting. Man, that was hectic.
That was sick.